Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning to all respected guests. Before we begin, we would like to request all attendees to take your seat and fill in the front seats, inshallah. And please be reminded to set your phone into airplane or silent mode so as not to interrupt the ceremony. Our event will begin shortly, inshallah. Alright, thank you so much for your cooperation and attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Right, so Alhamdulillah, our Zoom capacity is already full right now. So thank you so much for attending the session for the Zoom attendees. So maybe if your colleagues are yet to join, they can also access this briefing through YouTube session, IUM MSD Competency Development. So there will be a YouTube live as well on YouTube. And for senior officers or supervisors, we may remind your respective staff to join this briefing as well. Okay. And those who are nearby in Gombak campus, especially, there are still more seats at the Senate Hall. So do come and join us at the Senate Hall. Maybe you can get a clearer explanation for the briefing, inshallah. Do come and join us. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let us begin our session with the recitation of Kitab Al-Fatihah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wa mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Very warm welcome and good morning to Honorable Madam Zuraida Hassan, the Executive Director, Management Services Division IIUM, Deans and Directors of IIUM, Senior Officers, ladies and gentlemen who are in the hall, as well as at the online platform of Zoom and YouTube. Welcome to the briefing on Sistem Saraan Perkhidmatan Awam SSPA for IIUM Permanent Staff. I am Afidina Amir, your Master of Ceremony for today. Dear distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, at the 19th Majlis Amanat Perdana Perkhidmatan Awam, MAPA, the Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim announced that the Malaysian Remuneration System or SSM will be replaced by the Public Service Remuneration System or Sistem Saraan Perkhidmatan Awam SSPA, which will begin from 1 December 2024. SSPA is a significant overhaul of the salary structure for Malaysian civil servants. It aims to modernize the system, improve employee morale and enhance the overall efficiency of the public service. To gain barakah from Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala for our ceremony for today, let us pray to Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala with the dua recitation. Al-Fatiha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم اللهم أنت العزيز الجليل. Indeed, we are gathering today to express our gratitude on your countless favor. Make us your servant who are always grateful for little or even big indulgence. Thus, bless our meeting and strives today. Shower us with beneficial knowledge and riches understanding. Unite our hearts and tighten our relationship among us. Ya Rahman, Ya Aziz, Ya Ghaffar. You are the all-knowing that we are here today to seek your wide knowledge, to expand our potential as a servant who you please. Bless our program today, give us part of your knowledge and brighten our heart with your guidance, as with them it can help us to understand, feel and practice them in our daily life. Allahumma ya munzila rahmah wa ya fatihal barakah. Make all our strive here in the garden of knowledge and virtue as an ibadah to you. Make us who are serving here as grateful and committed person and give us a good and eager spirit so that this effort can be a reason the nation and its people develop and contribute to the religion and nation. Allahumma ya alim wa ya khabir. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معثوما ولا تجعل اللوم فينا ولا معنا ولا من يتبعنا شقيا ولا مطرودا ولا محروما اللهم اجعل خير أعمارنا آخره وخير أعمارنا خواتيمه وخير إن أيامنا يوم ألقاك فيه ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين آمين يا رب العالمين. With great honor, next I would like to invite Madam Zuraida Hassan, the Executive Director of Management Services Division IIUM, to deliver her welcoming speech. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in. First and foremost, can the online and whether Gambang, Paguh, Kuantan, Susmek here, the audio, I want to check the audio first. Anyone can just say yes? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So all clear. Okay, Alhamdulillah. So respected UMC members, if they are online, yeah, and deans, directors, all academic staff, admin and technical staff, in fact, all staff of IUM, especially the permanent staff. I know some of them, even though they are not permanent, maybe they are joining, it's okay. But this is a session for the briefing on SSPA for permanent staff. So all of you, welcome to this session. Thank you very much for your participation. And I understood from the secretariat that the Zoom is full. The Zoom is full, and YouTube also already reaching to about 500, more than 500 already, alhamdulillah, because I need to mention this, because permanent staff we have 900, yeah, because permanent staff we have about 5,000. So we are hoping for the permanent staff, of course, to listen to this briefing so that they can understand, in order to decide for the option. And the other thing is, we do understand that there are staff, permanent staff that are on duty, like nurses. We understand, but maybe later you can use the YouTube to help you to also, I mean, at other time you can listen to the YouTube and maybe ask questions later lah if you are not available to present today. Yeah? Okay, I think I have thanked all the participants, the audience, and of course the physical in Senate Hall. Thank you very much also to the members here. And I would like to take this opportunity also to thank IUM management for their support in implementing SSPA in IUM. Yeah. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Selamat pagi. Very good morning. And also salam Malaysia Madani. Okay, everybody aware that the announcement from the central agency, on 13 September, the government 2024, the government has issued the Perkeliling Perkhidmatan Bilangan 1 tahun 2024 regarding the implementation of SSPA that will take effect 1st December 2024. As you all know that we are, in terms of our emolument, remuneration, everything budget come from the central, and we are on SSM. So we are also apart from that, yeah, when the implementation is to be implemented. So as a public university, like other public university, kita pun berstandarkan. We are based on that also, yeah, SSPA. Of course, inshallah, as you all will be listening to our service section to brief on this SSPA, we want to clearly mention that this is something like we are going to adopt, because we are company limited by guarantee, governed by also the Employment Act and IR. So we are a little bit different from other public universities. So we are going to adopt as how we used to adopt SSM before. We adopted SSM before. And so we're going to adopt, and of course with maybe some modifications lah, just like we did for under SSM. Yeah. Okay. Because I was given like 2-3 minutes only, because the briefing is very important than rather than my welcoming. So I'm going to cut short the welcoming. But I want to thank MSD, especially the service office, and Cik Din and the team, and Madam Najiha and so on. Also, office of the legal advisor. Yeah, YM is not here, but of course his team, ITD, yeah, Datuk Nurbi, Madam Normaliza and the team, yeah, IT, and also Susmec, Datuk Safi, Dr. Zainab, and all the team for their contribution, because there were series of discussion. Yeah, before this briefing, there were series of discussion to discuss on the implementation of SSPA. So we deeply appreciate the team's commitment in reviewing and digesting the more than 1,000 pages, yeah, Perkeliling Bilangan 1 2024 that were given to us. And of course, the dedication, hard work, and collaboration sincerely valued. And we look forward lah for today, the barakah from Jumaat ni. Hopefully, we can gather more information and we can bring more to the University Staff Service Committee to discuss what is the best for us. Yeah, since we are adopting with modifications. So what are the things that we can actually improve in this SSPA, that we can also get the permission from or consent from the central agency, that we can be at the best level that we can to offer to our staff under SSPA, yeah? Under what we adopt from SSPA. So but with that, I think again, thank you very much. I would like to pass this over to the service section, and I would like to invite Madam Najiha to start. Okay, but the Afiq to continue with the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Zuraida, for the speech. All right. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, moving on to our main agenda, which is the briefing on SSPA. But before that, just a quick reminder. First of all, do scan the I attend QR code or click the I attend link provided for the attendance. All right. So as mentioned by Madam Zuraida, secondly, the Zoom section is already full. Thank you so much for attending the Zoom session, as well as on YouTube right now recorded is 1,200 viewers right now. Thank you so much for viewing, but there are still more to come, and there are still more seats here in the Senate Hall. So who are nearby can come join us here, and also can join us through YouTube. All right. And we will have the question and answer session after the briefing. All right. So for written question, you may write your inquiries via the chat box on Zoom and YouTube. So after this, the secretariat will take note your question, and we will forward the question to the speakers at the end of the briefing. And for verbal question, we will also give the floor to the audience in that particular session as well. All right. So with that, without further ado, I would like to invite Madam Wan Najihah Rashikin Wan Abdullah, the Director of Human Resource Management, MSD, and Madam Asnidi Mariamwati Ahmad, the Deputy Director, Policy and Service Unit, MSD, to continue the session on SSPA. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Our Honorable Executive Director, Madam Zuraida Hassan, Deans and Directors, brothers and sisters, the IIUM community. Thank you very much for attending this briefing this morning. It is a very important briefing for all of us because there's going to be a lot of changes to our remuneration system that is applicable in the university now. All right. So the briefing will be conducted in basically two phases. I will begin with the introduction until the topic on benefits, and I will hand over to my colleague, Madam Asnili, to brief on what we need to do after today. Okay, in particular with regards to the option to the new remuneration system. Okay, the title of this briefing today is Sistem Saraan Perkhidmatan Awam for IIUM permanent staff. We are going to also have two other sessions with our the specific groups of permanent staff in the evening, okay, that are affected by this new remuneration system, as well as with our contract staff sometime next week. So this briefing today is exclusively for the permanent staff of IIUM only. All right. So with that said, can we move to the... All right. So just a little bit of introduction. I think Madam Zuraida has mentioned briefly just now with regards to our status as a public university and established as a company limited by guarantee, CLBG, under the Companies Act. But we all know that as a public university established as a CLBG, we are, since our establishment, performing the roles of a public university in Malaysia. And in fact, we are one of the 20 public universities in Malaysia. Okay, so for all here, I mean, for all your for the information of all the members listening today, the staff listening today, since the university's establishment in 1983, we have adopted the government's remuneration system. Okay, since 1983, at that time, Malaysia was using the Jawatan Kuasa Kabinet 1976, in short, or popularly known as JKK, which is the government remuneration system at that time. So when we were established in 1983, this was the remuneration system that we adopt. And then follow on to that, we have the Sistem Saraan Baru, SSB. And then at present, it is Sistem Saraan Malaysia, SSM. Okay, so I think everybody knows about this, yeah, because it's in the news for the past couple of months. That the government has decided to implement the new Sistem Saraan, which is called Sistem Saraan Perkhidmatan Awam, or in short SSPA. And IIUM too has received the Government Service Circular of Perkeliling Perkhidmatan Bilangan 1 tahun 2024 from the government dated on the 13th of September 2024 with regards to the implementation of SSPA, which will take effect on the 1st of December of this year. Okay. Next. Okay, so by virtue of our status as a public university and also as a CLBG, the staff of IIUM, are subject to the employment laws that are applicable to the private sector employees. Maybe not many knows about this, but I think hopefully by today, we are now conscious that when it comes to employment matters, legally speaking, we are also subject to the Employment Act as well as the Industrial Relations Act. So I think our colleagues from OLA today can probably later, if there are questions from the floor, can help us to maybe attend to those questions. But on this note, I think it is very important that we should be very conscious of our status as a CLBG and its implication. Okay, so when the circular from the government reached us, so the university is adopting the SSPA, however, with modifications. Because why? As I think the first slide itself, when you receive the notification for this briefing, I think you might be wondering, how is it related to us? Because the briefing is on Sistem Saraan Perkhidmatan Awam. So I think many of you will be asking, are we public service? Are we a public service? Are we in the public service? Because it's specifically mentioned Perkhidmatan Awam. Okay, so that's why whenever we receive a Perkeliling Perkhidmatan or government circulars, the university will always bring it to the relevant authority of the university to adopt. Okay, and the adoption could be with some modifications because of our status, and of course because of other probably factors that require the university to adopt with some modifications. Okay, but this is a very important point to note. If there are any discrepancies between the provisions of the relevant acts that govern private sector employees, here we have given the example of the Employment Act as well as the Industrial Relations Act. So if there's any discrepancies between these acts and the SSPA, the provisions of the acts shall prevail over the SSPA. So this slide, it is very important. So we hope that all of us here will be very clear on this. And should you have any concerns or you want to raise questions later, we would really also appreciate that and welcome that. Okay, next. Okay, this is just to show the evolution of the remuneration system in the public service. I think it's a good reminder to all of us because again, we are not in the public service, but at the same time, we are adopting the government's remuneration system. So as you can see, the JKK that I mentioned earlier, it was introduced on the 1st of January 1976. IIUM was established in 1983. So during that time, JKK was the remuneration system applicable in the country, and we adopted it. And come 1st January 1992, the government introduced the SSB, and we also adopted it. Later in November 2002, the government introduced SSM. We also adopted it. I don't know if you all remember, but there was this initiative by the government to introduce SBPA. Do you remember? Okay, maybe, yes. Okay, some of the staff in the Senate Hall said they do remember. Yeah, the government wanted to introduce SBPA sometime in January 2012, but However, the SPPA, they decided not to proceed with it. It was not implemented. So the government remained with SSM, which was introduced in 2002. And now, here we are today, into the era of SSPA. Okay, so that will begin, that will take effect on 1st December 2024. So that's in the public service. All right, so let's look at what we have in IIUM. It's almost the same, because when we said that it is an adoption, which means that we follow, but of course with some modifications to suit the IIUM's requirements and needs. Okay, so this is the remuneration system in IIUM for all to know. So we are basically based on what the government has implemented throughout over the years. All right, moving on. So adoption of SSPA in IIUM. Okay, di circular perkeliling perkhidmatan number 1, number 1 2024, number 1 2024. It's 1,100 pages. 1,001 pages, sorry, correction. 1,001 pages. But if you are eager to read, I encourage you to read, because the real perkeliling, or the substance of it is only 87 pages. So it's quite okay lah to read, right? 87 pages. I mean, you can finish it in like maybe less than an hour, in a few minutes. Okay, but what comprise the 1,001 pages are actually all the attachments, all the simulations, because all the forms for better understanding on the circular. So I think the government, or in this case, the Public Service Department, did a really good job in basically putting in very clear information for us to help us understand what is the PP1 2024 is all about. Okay, so to start off with, on the perkeliling of SSPA, it is stated that the objectives of the SSPA, we have summarized it here to include the following, which is to improve the public sector compensation. I think this is what has been the most talk about improvement in the social media, because everybody is looking forward to the salary adjustment. But there are other things other than salary adjustment in the circular. So when you read the circular, don't stop at page salary adjustment. You have to complete the reading until the 87th page. All right. So the second objective is to encourage performance and productivity. Okay, so this is A and B, it is interrelated. The government improves the compensation to make it more attractive, and of course is expecting that the staff, the public service also improve on the performance as well as the productivity. The third one is to streamline the public service structure. Okay, this one I will explain in more detail because maybe many of us here are not familiar when we talk about the service structure in the context of the university. Fourth, foster accountability and transparency. And lastly, provide career development opportunities. So in the circular, they also laid out some very interesting career development opportunities, improvements made to the current career development that may also be relevant in the context of IIUM. Okay, so in short, the main key areas of SSPA include service structure covering service schemes, service matters, salaries, allowances, facilities, exit policy, and retirement benefits. Okay, I think unless you are in the policy and service unit of MSD, maybe not many knows or are familiar with the term service scheme, with the term service matters, with the term probably exit policy. So we really hope that through this briefing today, we will get a better understanding of the system, the remuneration system that currently governs us as a staff of the university. Because when we talk about remuneration system, it governs us from the day one we enter the university as a staff until we retire, okay, until we complete our service. So throughout that period of our employment or our service in the university, all that you need to know is in the document that the university will adopt with modification. Just a note here also when we say modification, because over the years, when we started with JKK, SSB, SSM, even now SSPA, there are many things. I can give you an example, like for instance, the topic on career development or even the topic on exit policy. There is still no clear or specific circular yet on the matter. So when we attended the briefing with the Public Service Department, they also told us this, that one will come. All right. So this document, the presentation that we are going to share with you all today, is basically an overview of what SSPA is all about. And the adoption in IIUM will be with modification. And if you have concerns with regards to the career development, the exit policy, we may not be able to address it yet today because that would be subject to the perkeliling that we will expect to receive in the near future that requires adoption by the university authority, okay, which we have been doing that for the longest time since 1983. Anything that comes from the government, it's not something that we can straight away implement because we have our own governance structure in the university, which requires us to go back to the governing body to decide on the suitability of its implementation in IIUM. So with that note, I would also like to draw your attention, if you are reading the perkeliling perkhidmatan, that on the last page of the perkeliling, it is stated very clearly, because this is the basically the standard paragraph in all government circulars, that nak baca in Malay ke? The pemakaian, the topic under that page is pemakaian, which means application. The application of this circular adalah tertakluk kepada the agencies lah, the relevant agencies. But it is extended. So in our case, we have to bring to our governing body to decide on the adoption in the university. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so this is how we're going to go through the briefing today. According to these topics, we have taken it from the circular for easy understanding, so that because the flow has got to be in this way, so that you need to understand from the very beginning until the option. Okay, because we cannot straight away. I know you're eagerly waiting for the salary adjustment part, but I cannot jump straight away to the salary adjustment. We need to understand A first, B, C, D, and lastly H. Okay, so we're going to go according to this list. So I will be talking about A until G, and I will hand over to Madam Neely for the offer for the H part. All right. So brothers and sisters, please take this opportunity today to understand your service matters in the university, because it is going to be mostly an adoption of this SSPA. Okay, so if we really hope that after today we'll be speaking the common language when it comes to service matters, that when we refer to ASI, everybody knows that it refers to annual salary increment. If we mention about service classification, you know what that means. If we refer to service group, you know what that means. Okay, so let's start with A. Determination of minimum entry qualification in the public service. We are still mentioning the public service here because we are extracting the information from SSPA. But please, I hope that throughout the presentation, the context of it is in light of IIUM, our university, all right? So one of the main what do you call it? The new thing, the new thing that is introduced under SSPA is on the determination of the entry qualification. Okay, but before I go to that detail, let me just share with you the service classification. Okay, we are also using this service classification in IIUM. Remember the adoption of SSM, the adoption of SSM in 2002. So this service classification were already present in SSM, but come SSPA, they have done some improvement, or you can say some adjustment or whatnot. All right. But looking at the 21 service classification that they have in the public service, don't worry, we don't have number 21. Army, tentera tak ada. We don't have that in IIUM. So the ones that are highlighted in, what color is that? Peach. Peach. Okay, in peach. Those are the service classifications that are available in IIUM. Okay, can you actually relate to which service classification you fall under? Can you relate to that? Kalau boleh relate means that you have read your contract of employment. Okay, so okay, number 4, education and pendidikan. Of course, we are a teaching and learning organization. So most of our staff are coming from the academics, and they fall under the service classification number 4, which is education. Okay, so now I guess you can relate why your payslip, it is stated there, your post and grade is DS51, DS54, DG41, DG44, okay? DU, medical lecturer, DU 51, and then the dental lecturer, DUG. It starts with D. It starts with the letter D. Okay, so that's what it means by service classification. And then we have our engineers, the jurutera, in ITD, in the Kuliah of Engineering, in the Development Division. So their service classification is J. All right. And then we have L, not many. I think now we have two under the L service classification, which they are in the Office of the Legal Advisor. And N, okay, N is the administration, pentadbiran dan sokongan, administrative and support. So most of our administrative staff falls under this service classification. When I say most, covers also the professional and management group as well as the support group. Okay, we are under the same service classification, which is N. All right, so we have others, not forgetting W. Kamarah pula W. W is the finance, okay, and then we have the medical health, our SASMEC clinical staff, and then social as research, we have Q. All right. Okay, so are we okay? Are we good? We're good? Okay, so move on. So that's the service classification. Okay, now under SSPA, they have introduced the minimum entry qualification. Okay, so this is a bit of historical. Historical as in come 1st December, the public service is going into SSPA, or will you be using SSPA. So currently under the Sistem Saraan Malaysia or SSM, the minimum entry qualification to the public service is only PMR. PMR, ada lagi korang ambil PMR? I do the SRP. So itulah PMR. Now I think the latest one is PT3, right? So last time was, during my time was SRP. And then now it's PMR, and then PT3. Okay, so under SSPA, the minimum entry qualification has been fixed to SPM, CJ Pelajaran Malaysia. Okay, you can, I guess we can relate that kan, because the objective of SSPA just now. Okay, throughout this presentation, as I speak, we have to go back to the objectives of the government when they decided to introduce SSPE. Okay, so that's the minimum entry qualification. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this is in the circular. Since the SSPA introduced the minimum entry qualification of SPM, therefore there are 13 schemes of service in the public sector that are affected by this new change. All right. And in the context of IIUM, we have 4 service schemes, scheme of service that are going to be affected. So we put all the 13 just for information, but the one that maybe you need to pay attention to is the ones that we highlighted in the in bold. All right. So we have only 4 schemes of service, and they are the scheme of service of driver, operation assistant, public health assistant, as well as security guard. All right. So under this minimum entry qualification, you can see in the legend, there are 3 shades of colors. One is the combined, macam nak sama pula combine dengan abolish the color. Okay, I think the combined is for 3 and 7, right? 3 and 7. Purple is the number 8, and green is 13. Okay, green is 13. All right. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. Maybe I can explain better in the next slide. In the context of I'm going to focus on IIUM now for the next slide. Okay. Okay, so just now we saw there are 4 schemes of service in IIUM that will be affected by the requirement of SPM as the minimum entry qualification. Okay, so what happens to these schemes? For the first category, the scheme of service driver and operation assistant, under SSPA, the government has decided to combine several scheme of service, including these 2 scheme of service, driver and operation assistant, to become one new scheme of service, which is to be known as general service assistant. Okay, ni kita translate ke English. Kalau the bahasa Malaysia, the one in the Pekeliling, it is called pembantu khidmat am. Okay, so under this category, because for IIUM, only these 2 scheme of service are affected, so we only highlight these 2. But in the public service, there are a few other schemes of service. Okay, so for this category, under the SSPA, the scheme will be general service assistant. Okay, the next one is public health assistant. For this scheme under SSPA, the government has decided to upgrade the scheme. So the scheme is upgraded, and now it will be called medical health assistant. Okay. And the last one, security guard. Under SSPA, this scheme of service will be abolished. Okay, and a new scheme of security assistant. So they changed it to security assistant will be introduced. All right. So we will have a special session with this category of staff in the afternoon, because I think for this session, many of us are not affected by this change. But for the staff who are in this category, we thought it would be better for us to have a special session so that we can have more Q&As and more feedbacks that we can bring back to the university authority. Okay, because we don't have much time today. It's only 2 hours for the morning session. So we're going to have one in the afternoon later to discuss specifically on those who are affected by this. Okay, with the staff who are in this category. Okay, next. Okay, so we're done with A. All right. So if you have questions, do jot it down so that you're gonna ask me later at the end of my briefing, so that you don't forget. So now we are at B, standardization and classification of job grades. Okay, let's see what we have here. All right. So brothers and sisters, this table basically shows that when we were appointed, maybe during my time, I joined, it was N, and even during my time when I joined, it was SSB, so it was different, right? But for those of you, the young ones in the room today, you may be more familiar lah with your grades, because you were appointed under the current SSM. So let's see. When we talk about the SSPA, or in the public service, which under SSM also we adopted it, there are 3 categories of service category. The top management, we have the management and professional group, and we have the support group. Okay, so this is what is stated in the SSPA. There is 3 service group: top management group, our professors, the VK7, VK6, VK5, our administrators who are on grade VU7, like our ED, VU6, VU5, those are the top management. And then the other service group is the management and professional group, where the qualification, the entry qualification is bachelor degree. Most of us, the academics, the administrators in the professional and management group are in this service group. All right. While the support group, the third group is the support group. Okay. So under SSM, you can see the table there. Under SSPA, now the qualification entry is only 3. Okay, they start with SPM, and then they have the qualification entry of diploma or STPM, and lastly, bachelor degree. All right, so these are the 3 qualification entry in the public service. So under SSM currently, as I showed earlier, we have the coming in to work with us under the PMR. So in IIUM, under SSM, we follow the SSM. So for SSPA, since we are adopting SSPA, this will also be our service the classification of our job grades. Okay, the tips that we got from JPA, yeah, for many of us here, maybe senang nak ingat. When we talk about the job grades, ni dia kata the singkatannya is 447. You can see kan? SPM got 4 grades, diploma STPM got 4 grades, while bachelor degree got 7 grades. So it'll help you to remember that in the job grades that we have under SSPA is 15. Yeah, starting with grade 1 all the way up to grade 15. So this table, we want to show the change from the current SSM grade to the SSPA grade. Okay, so for those of us who is, let's say, in the management and professional group who is currently on grade 41, under SSPA, by virtue of the adoption by the university, the grade will be changed to 9. So when after 1st December next year, when Cik Din wants to apply to submit the application of the university for pejawatan, because we get our posts, we get posts from the central agency, which is JPA. So it will be following this grade. Now we submit our applications for pejawatan is following the SSM grade because we adopted SSM. All right. So this is important because we are getting the funding from the central agency for our emoluments. All right. And of course, when they give us the funding, the application, it has to follow whatever templates that they give us, and therefore we need to be in line with the job grades that the government are using. All right. So so that's the grade. So for SPM entry, we have the grade 19. Now under SSPA will be known as grade 1. And then under grade 2 is the combination of 21/22 as well as 24. And then for diploma, and the highest grade for SPM entry is grade 28. Okay, 27, 28. So in the SSPA grade, the highest would be grade 4. So for diploma entry, the hiring grade is grade 5. And then the highest grade on this qualification entry is 8. While the bachelor degree, it starts with grade 9. And the highest grade would be grade 15. All right. So next slide. Okay, now we are at C, abolishment of schemes of service. Let's see what we have here. Abolishment. All right. So under the SSPA circular, the government decided to abolish a number of scheme of service. And of course, again, back to the objective, when they abolish means that they are introducing something new and something better. Okay. So for those schemes of service that are under the bachelor degree qualification, for the public service, there are 6 schemes of service involved. But in the context of IUM, there's only 2, which is 5 and 6. Okay. So okay. So okay, Madam Lily just whispered to me. I think she didn't want me to talk too much on this because there's going to be a session in the afternoon that will specifically address this because it involves specific groups of staff. Okay, specific groups of staff, and our intention is mainly we want to have a more detailed discussion with the group. All right. So in the context of IUM, pegawai penerbitan currently under SSM grade N41 up to N54, they've decided to abolish. And then pegawai keuangan grade W41 all the way up to W54. But this pegawai keuangan is actually those entering the service with the qualification of bachelor degree without the qualification of accounting. So probably they have a bachelor degree in finance, you know, they normally would be appointed as pegawai keuangan. So under the SSPA, this service scheme has been abolished, and they have introduced, not that they have introduced, they have basically placed this group of staff under the Pegawai Takbir, the Administrative Officer Scheme of Service, or under the Accountant Scheme of Service. Okay, what is the difference here? You can see from the blue box, the difference is on the qualification. Okay, so they've decided to do away with the Pegawai Keuangan scheme because at present, under SSM, we have Pegawai Keuangan, which is the finance officer, and we have the accountants. It's two separate schemes, two different schemes. So under the SSPA, the accountant scheme is maintained while the finance officer scheme is placed in the administrative officer scheme, Pegawai Takbir scheme. Simply for a reason, if we read the circular, is because for Pegawai Keuangan, the qualification, they are not required to have an accounting degree. Okay, but for those with accounting degree, the appropriate scheme would be accountant because these are professionals. Yeah. So that's why now for Pegawai Keuangan, they have abolished the scheme. But our staff who are in this category, please don't worry. You are still here with us. It's just that the scheme, you are now under, by virtue of the adoption, you are now under the scheme of Pegawai Takbir. But again, we'll discuss this in the afternoon, all right? Because most of us here are not in this category, so we'll have a separate discussion later. All right, same goes to Mira, number 5 tadi, bachelor degree. Bachelor degree, the slide on bachelor. Okay, same goes to Pegawai Penerbitan. We have, but not many. But even though it's only 1 or 2, still they are affected by this. So again, we'll have a session with them later in the afternoon. Okay, next. We're still on the topic of abolishment of scheme of service. For STPM or diploma qualification, the entry qualification. So under the public service, they have 4 schemes of service that are affected by this new SSPA. But in IIUM, we only have 1 scheme of service, which is Penolong Pegawai Penerbitan. Okay, so again, we'll discuss further later in the afternoon. Next, SPM qualification. In the public service, there are 8 schemes of service that are affected by this SSPA, while in IIUM, we have 2, which is Pembantu Penerbitan and also Pegawai Khidmat Pelanggan. Pegawai Khidmat Pelanggan is our customer service. Yeah. Okay, so next. This one just for information. Okay, so schemes of service in IIUM affected by the abolishment of schemes of service under SSPA. This is a summary of what I've just said just now, and these are also the staff who we will meet later in the afternoon. Inshallah, we'll see you later. Yeah. Okay. Next. All right. Now we come to the highlight of the day. The highlights of the briefing, improvement in salary structure. Okay, let me just pause. Okay, let's see what we have here. Okay, improvement in salary structure. Okay, under the Pekeliling Perkhidmatan, this is what they provided for to the public service. Okay, you either accept the SSPA option, then you will enjoy the improvement in salary structure and salary adjustment. If the public service decided to decline, then they will remain in the current structure, which is the SSM. Okay, so in the context of IIUM, since we are adopting the SSPA with modification, if all of us here today, but looking at the faces macam nak sign kan? Okay, if all of us here today decided to accept the adoption of SSPA in IIUM with modification, which includes the improvement in salary structure as well as salary adjustment, then you have to listen carefully later when Madam Neely talk about the option form. Okay, in the last section of our briefing. Okay, but if any of us today decided to remain in the current remuneration structure that the university has adopted in 2002, which is SSM, therefore, the current salary structure will be applicable to you. Okay, all right. So are we good on that? We can see what the salary improvement is about. Okay, next. All right. This is just a note to all of us because I think as IIUM staff, yeah, we should be speaking the same language on service matters, because when we get queries from our staff to MSD, sometimes when we reply, those who are familiar, alhamdulillah, they're familiar. But sometimes some of these terms are quite alien to some. Okay, so we hope that today, with this briefing, we are more close to understanding, again, the remuneration system that currently governs us in the university. Okay, so this has actually, like for instance, the first one, we are showing this abbreviation because this is going to be shown in the following slide. So we hope that you will know that we are actually referring to this. Okay, the first one is minimum maximum salary schedule, MMSS, or in the government sector, or even in IIUM among our HR colleagues, is popularly known as JGMM, Jadual Gaji Minimum Maximum. Okay, so what is MMSS? I think this one we will. Tak ada kan? Okay, I have to share a little bit. When we refer to MMSS, actually you can look up. You just look up Google Jadual Gaji Minimum Maximum, and you want to know for your service classification. Maybe the lecturers want to know that they are appointed as DS51, okay, under SSM. And their starting salary is certain amount. How did the university derive at that? So it is based on the JGMM, because under the JGMM, for every scheme of service, okay, I give an example. For the scheme of service of university lecturer, okay, the JGMM will show. It starts with DS45. So they have a minimum salary for DS45 and a maximum salary. And the JGMM also show the ASI rate, the annual salary increment rate for that grade 45. Followed by DS51/52. Okay, this is, I'm talking about SSM, the current one. So you have the minimum salary on that grade and the maximum. So when every year, when our academics, or when we receive our ASI, our salary is within that range of minimum and maximum salary of the MMSS. Okay. So I think kita pernah dengar kot zaman dulu masa SSB, dia kata kalau in the public service kan, gaji dah langgar dinding. You know? Have you heard of that term? Like gaji dah langgar dinding. So, but I still have like many years more service to go. Kan? So frust lah sebab you have another 10 years service but your gaji already maximum, dinding. Gaji mati, yes, thank you, Dr. Norun. Gaji mati. Gaji mati. Okay. So, but the government improved that by introducing the jadual gaji minimum maximum, because they also introduced bila dah sampai once the staff reach the maximum, there is a formula or a calculation of annual salary increment based on certain percentage. Okay, so that is currently in SSM. For those who would be wondering when listening to me, how come I did not get that one? We'll have a separate session with MSD. That one we will attend it on case to case. But generally speaking, okay, once a staff reach the maximum of their grade under SSM, and if they are eligible for the annual salary increment, they will still get, but it will not be at a fixed rate as stated in the jadual gaji minimum maximum. I give you an example. If, for instance, those on grade DS 54, your annual salary increment rate is at 320 ringgit. Correct? Mesti tak tahu kan rate sebab dapat je. The rate is 320. Okay? So, if you reach the maximum of the scale of 54, right? There's no more scale. So, the ASI is a different rate. It goes by percentage. All right. So that is MMSS. And then under SSPA, they introduce lowest starting salary, LSS. Okay. This one my team lah. They decide it's okay lah. For the time being, we just go with it. Maybe when we bring to SSC, they want us to use a different abbreviation. But this is what we are going to use for the rest of the slides for easy understanding. But in the government, they call it gaji permulaan terendah. Okay. And then ASI, I think we are all familiar. Maximum annual salary increment, the one that I just explained just now, and date of ASI is the tarikh pergerakan gaji tahunan. Okay. I'm just looking at the questions there. They're eager to know the gaji. Kalau cakap pasal gaji, mesti nak tahu kan? Tak apa, we will share. It's actually you can easily Google. You Google JGMM, you can see the percentage. Okay, thank you for that. JGMM is presented at page 33. So yeah, thank you. All right, next. Okay, so this one we need to explain in a little bit more detail because it involves salary and maybe affecting some of our colleagues in the support group. Okay, let's see here. Lowest starting salary, LSS rate, starting 1,500. Okay, under the SSPA, when the government decided to introduce the minimum entry qualification of SPM, they also introduced the lowest starting salary of 1,500, which means to say that for a person joining the public service, yeah, in the support group, their minimum salary cannot be below 1,500. So under SSPA, the starting salary of the public service will be at 1,500 ringgit. Okay, so the second one, the MMSS has been enhanced and standardized. Okay, the standardization here, if you refer to the circular, is about the table. When I gave you an example just now, for the university lecturer, we have the MMSS of a university lecturer starting from the S45 all the way up to the S54. Okay, and then they have the minimum and maximum salary. But under SSPA, they only have one MMSS for all schemes of service for all the 21 service classification. Remember, I showed you the service classification in the earlier slides. We have 21 service classifications, but in IUM, we have less than 21. Okay, so, and I showed you the slide on the 447. Remember the 447? So, under the new SSPA, the MMSS will be based on the 447. Faham tak? Faham kan? Meaning to say, sekarang under SSM, university lecturer, you have one MMSS, the S45 all the way to 54. Under the SSPA, the MMS is common to all. they're just using one, which means that if let's say DG 41, the scheme of Guru Bahasa, yeah, our self-taught teachers, they start with DG 41, and then we have the scheme of administrative officer. They start at N41. Under SSM, they have different MMSS. They have one for DG, they have one for admin officer. But under SSPA, they have only one, which means to say DG 41 will be using the MMS under grade 9. So administrative officer also will be grade 9. Okay? Okay. Okay? All right. So that's the second part. The third one, maximum annual salary increment, the MASI just now, the MASI, the one yang langgar dinding tadi. The ASI rates are aligned according to grades under the SSPA. Maximum ASI replace the fixed rate of 3%. Okay, the one that I mentioned about the langgar dinding, the ASI, when the staff reach the maximum salary, the ASI will be at a fixed rate of 3%. And the university adopted this when the government issued the Perkeliling Perkhidmatan number 2, 2015. Okay, so that's why since then, those who reach maximum and eligible for ASI, they are still getting their ASI, but at the rate of 3%. All right. So maximum ASI rates are set at a specific amount for each grade, which means that it's no longer based on percentage. It is at a fixed rate. Okay, so staff currently receiving an ASI at the rate higher than the SSPA, the ASI rate will continue to be used, or the ASI rate will continue to be used under the personal to holder. Okay, this one actually, it is what's written in the SSPA circular. So if we want to talk about the application in IIUM, since the university is adopting it, okay, it will be as such, because since JKK, SSB, SSM, when the university adopted the salary structure of the government, we follow what is stated in the salary structure for IIUM. And this is, I think, very important to also note, because since our emolument comes from the government, yeah, so whenever there is an increment, every year when the university submits the application for peruntukan for the personnel cost, yeah, for the human resource cost, the personnel cost, it will take into consideration all the relevant salary structure that is applied by the government and adopted by the university. Okay, so next. All right. So this is what you all are looking forward to, right? So I'm sure many has already used the SSPA calculator, because I think it has been around in the JPA website like for quite some time now. Okay, so this is basically the salary adjustment provided for in the SSPA circular. Again, as I mentioned, 3 service groups, yeah, the top management, management and professional, as well as support. And according to the SSPA circular, the salary adjustment will be done in 2 phases. Phase 1, the effective date will be 1st December 2024, which means those in the public service who decided to go for the SSPA option will be receiving their salary in December based on the salary adjustment under SSPA. While the second phase would be on 1st January 2026. So in terms of the rate of the salary adjustment is again according to the table there. So for the top management, in total, in total, it will be at 7%. So the first phase, 4%, and second phase, 3%. So the total salary adjustment under SSPA would be 7%. While the management and professional group, phase 1, 8% or minimum 240. And phase 2, 7%. Okay. For support group, 8% or minimum 240. And then for phase 2, will be 7%. Okay. Why 8% or minimum 240? While top management is just that one figure. Okay, basically because they look at the, not sure the simulation. Okay, so we go to the next slide for the explanation. All right. So the method of salary adjustment stated in the circular is explained in this slide. Okay, so for phase 1, okay, this is very important because for those who decided to opt for the new remuneration system, the salary adjustment will be based on the basic salary, our basic salary on 30th of November 2024. Okay, they're very specific on that, which means that would be the basic salary used for the calculation or in calculating the salary adjustment at 8%. All right. While for phase 2, the basic salary on 31st December 2025. All right. So we put a note there under the phase 1. For staff whose salary is more than 3,000 ringgit on 30th November 2024, the adjustment will be at 8%. While staff whose salary is less or at 3,000 ringgit on 30th November 2024, the adjustment will be 240 ringgit. Okay? All right. So the implementation, once because now come 1st December, there will be the salary adjustment will be effected, will take effect, right? And the new MMSS also will take effect. And therefore, the staff salary would be placed to the new MMSS after the salary adjustment phase 1. Simply said, your basic salary on 30th November plus 8%, the total will be placed at the minimum maximum salary on the new MMSS. Okay. So if the staff salary is below 1,500, remember the lowest salary just now, LSS, the salary would be placed to 1,500 on the new MMSS. Why? Because we may have staff, okay, whose basic salary on 30th November is below 3,000 and also below 1,500. Okay, so let's say you have someone whose salary, I think you're going to show this. Okay, we'll show the simulation later. All right, so that's the second part. And lastly, if the basic salary on 30th November 2024 of the staff exceeds the maximum salary under the MMSS, the approval of salary on personnel to holder must be obtained from the Public Service Department. Okay, so this is in the case of the public service officers. But in the context of IIUM, since we are adopting the SSPA, the salary structure, the MSS, and our emolument is also coming from the Public Service Department. So if we do have cases of this nature, we will also need to seek the advice from the PSD on how we are going to go about this. All right, because At the moment, as I said, we have our own governing structure in the university. But since we are adopting this, and this is provided for in the circular SSPA, so we would have to work closely with PSD to address staff who are in this category. All right, next. So, method of salary adjustment. Under the circular, for staff involved in the LSS, the lower salary scale, if they decide to opt or to choose or to accept the SSPA, but they have not yet fulfilled the requirements, we remain under SSM salary structure until they meet the necessary criteria. Okay, what are these necessary, what are the requirements that they need to fulfill? In this context, they are referring to the minimum entry qualification. Remember, there are about 4 schemes of service. In the context of IIUM, we have about 4 schemes of service. We have staff who may have joined us. I can say that we do have at the entry level of PMR, SRP, PT3, okay? So when they opt for SSPA, they have to also accept the minimum entry qualification of SPM in order to be placed to SSPA. But it doesn't mean that they cannot opt. They can, and they can get also the salary adjustment, but they can only be fully placed in SSPA structure once they have fulfilled all the requirements. So when we ask the JPA, the PSD, I mean, you can't expect them. I mean, these are people who have been with us for the longest time. I mean, to go and get their SPM qualification. So there is a method prescribed in the circular on how to go about it, and basically they are emphasizing on their experience. Okay, not so much the qualification to equate to the SPM entry qualification, but the experience of the staff who join with PMR or PT3 qualification. So again, this will be discussed in greater detail later in the afternoon with these specific groups of staff. All right. So as I said, the salary adjustment will still be made. They will still get the salary adjustment. And the new ASI date for staff on grade 11 who are placed on a new minimum starting salary will be changed to October. Okay. So okay. Grade 11 is the current grade under SSM. All right. Promotion on the same date of salary adjustment. Salary, if the promotion date is effective on 1st December 2024 or 1st January 2026, salary adjustment are made prior to the promotion. Okay? Because for promotion salary, there is also a formula. Therefore, the circular stated that the salary adjustment are going to be made prior to the promotion. So the calculation of the promotion salary will be determined in accordance with the SSPA. Okay, so untunglah kan? Untunglah orang yang dapat promotion 1 Disember, they enjoy the salary adjustment first, and then when we determine their promotion salary, it will be already on the new salary scale, yeah, that took into account the salary adjustment. Okay. All right. So next slide. Tanya apa? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So I think we go back. Yeah, it's okay. All right, because we just received a request that I should also cakap bahasa Malaysia sebab untuk lebih faham, Okay, I will do that. But I think in the afternoon, don't worry so much for those categories. In the 4 categories too. The afternoon session, it will be a very close up meeting. Yeah, interaction. All right. Okay, next slide. Okay. Since the team has prepared this simulation up close and personal, thank you very much, Department of Home. Yeah, up close and personal session. Thank you. All right. So we're just going to show we're just going to show the simulation of salary adjustment for support group. Okay, when we move on to the next slide, just put sebelum tu Mira, go back. Okay, just no, that slide just now. Okay, just to put things in context when we are looking at the following slides afterwards, that we are looking at a situation of a support staff whose basic salary is below 1,500. Okay, so this is because now LSS is 1,500, so it's below LSS. The method of salary adjustment would be they will be given 240 ringgit, remember? And the salary, after the salary adjustment of 240, the salary will be placed to the LSS, the lowest salary scale of the minimum maximum salary structure scale. All right. So so have that in mind so that for better understanding. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is what we took from the circular. So let's first look at the table. Yeah. Who is this person? Who is this staff? His current scheme of service is support group grade 11. Okay, support group 11. So if he opts or if he chooses to accept the new remuneration system, he will be placed at the new scheme of service grade H1. Remember, 447 entry qualification SPM starts with grade 1. So this is the person. Okay. Date of current ASI, annual salary increment, 1st January. Current means now, while he is now under support group grade 11, his ASI is 1st January. His basic salary on 30th November 2024 is 1216. Okay. Rate of ASI under his current grade is 80 ringgit. And rate of ASI under the SSPA grade H1 is 100 ringgit. All right. So let's go to the. Okay. So as you can see, the first line is showing the current MMSS grade 11. Okay. So the minimum salary of this staff, the salary of this staff is 1216. So the formula is anything below 3,000, the adjustment would be at the rate of 240 ringgit. Okay. So he will be getting 1216 plus 240 ringgit. So his salary now under MMSS grade 11 will be 1456. Okay. So come 1st December, when the new MMSS grade 1 takes effect, his salary under the new salary structure will be at 1,500. Why? Because the salary structure under SSPA only starts with 1,500. There's nothing less than 1,500. So we have to place that salary of 1456 to the appropriate salary scale of MMSS under the SSPA, which is 1,500. Okay. So because of that, the salary, the ASI date of this person, which was previously before SSPA was January, now is changed to October. Okay, so when phase 2 adjustment comes in on 1st January 2026, okay, the staff has already been placed at 1,500, and if he is eligible for the annual salary increment for the year 2025, he will be given the annual salary increment at the rate of 100 ringgit under the new remuneration system in October, on 1st of October. And therefore, his salary as of 30th November 2025 will be 1,600. So the salary adjustment for phase 2 for the staff will be 7% of 1,700. So it's 1,700 plus 7%. Okay? And, sorry. Huh? Sorry, 1,600 plus 7%. Right? So it becomes 1,712. Okay, sorry for that. All right, and again, the next arrow shows that since his ASI date has changed to October under the new remuneration system, so if he is eligible for ASI in 2006, it will be at the rate of 100 ringgit. So 1,712 plus 100, his salary on 1st October 2026 will be 1,812. Okay, so for this staff who is on grade 1, yeah, under MMSS, the minimum salary is 1,500. The maximum salary is 4,680. Okay, can you like visualize the scale, the MMSS? Grade 1, minimum 1,005, maximum 4,680. And then they have the next column, the ASI rate, which is a fixed rate. Okay. And the rate is 100 ringgit. Okay. All right. Okay, can we move on? Okay, the next simulation, because we have to be fair to all the groups, all the service groups. Just now we showed for the support group. Now we're showing for the management and professional group. Okay, the situation is for staff whose basic salary is less than 3,000 ringgit, the method of salary adjustment will be based on okay. Macam kena jawab terus ke? I think that one can easily, the formula is actually, okay, for ASI, we have 4 dates that we adopted from the government, 4 dates in a year. Maknanya it will depend on the day when we, what was the effective date of our appointment. So if so the dates are January, April, help me out. July. Yeah, very good. Okay. January, April, July, October. So if Najiha joined the university in February, so Najiha's annual salary increment for the following year will be in January, kan? Okay, if Cik Den joins the university in May, his salary increment will be in April. So if Dr. Adli joins the university in September, his salary increment date will be July. Okay, if Cik Makmos joined the university in November, his salary increment will be October. Okay, that's how it. That's the simply the rule lah. But on the formula, the rate of ASI, we have to go back to Public Service Department to ask how they derive the basically the fixed rate of ASI. Okay, so let's look at the simulation for this group. Okay, again, the table first. So this is staff in the management and professional group currently on grade 41. Date of current SI is 1st October. Basic salary on 30th November is 2305. Rate of ASI for grade 41 is 225, which is fixed. And then rate of ASI. Okay, now visualize the table, the table 447. Okay, so for grade 41 now will be under SSPA grade 9. So the ASI is maintained at RM 225, and the date of new ASI for this staff once the salary adjustment is effected is 1st October. All right, let's go to the first line. Okay, so this staff, her tadi he kan, no, her. Okay, her current salary on 30th November 2024 is 2305. Oh, sorry. The minimum salary under MMSS for N41 grade is 2080, while the maximum salary is 9546. Okay, that is visualize the MMSS for 41 N41. Okay, so for this particular staff, her salary on 30th November 2024 is 2305 ringgit. Okay, so it's within the range of MMSS. So it is less than 3,000 ringgit. Therefore, the salary adjustment for her would be at the rate of 240 ringgit. Okay, so again, the method of how the adjustment is implemented is that the 240 plus the current salary of the staff, 2305, so it becomes 2545. So once the adjustment has taken place, then the new salary of the staff as of 1st December 2024 will be placed at the new MMSS grade 9. Yeah, 447. So the first grade for management and professional group starts with grade 9. Okay, so under the new MMSS, because they are only using one MMSS, therefore you can see that the maximum salary is at 11,110. Okay, the starting salary or the minimum salary for grade 9 is 2250. So it basically covers, the new MMSS basically covers all the current grades under SSM from grade 41 all the way to grade 54. All this stuff will be subject to the MMS under the new SPA. But this one, the MMSS that we are showing now is only for grade 9. Okay, which is SSM now is grade 41. So kalau tengok sekarang grade 41 dia punya maximum is 9546 kan. Now bawa SSPA, bawa JGMM dah jadi grade 9, maksimum dia dah jadi 11,110. So kalau yang lain-lain yang grade 54 sekarang dan di SPA-nya grade 14, you want to see your maximum salary, boleh buka tengok dekat dalam circular. You can see is in the among the lampiran yang 1001 pages tadi. Madam Nili dah hafal. Lampiran D1. Okay, lampiran D1. Okay. So next slide. benefits. Benefits. Okay, so we are done with salary structure. Are we ahead of time or? Okay.
Salary structure, ada soalan ke tadi?
After this. Reserve the questions for.
Bagi tahu. Question reserve.
Save the best for last. Save the questions for. All right. So now benefits. Okay. Okay. Under SSPA, they've listed out some enhancement to the current benefits enjoyed by the public service officers. Okay. So let me take you to the context of IIUM. As I mentioned earlier, Madam Edie mentioned in her welcoming remarks that ever since our establishment in 1983, whenever there is a perkeliling perkhidmatan from the government, introducing certain new things, be it bantuan keuangan that we have been enjoying over the years, be it cuti haji, be it cuti umrah, it will come to us in the form of perkeliling perkhidmatan. And when we receive that, the policy and service unit of MSD will bring it to the university authority, in this case, the staff service committee, to get their approval on whether to adopt the perkeliling, and if the university decided to adopt, whether to adopt it with some modification to suit the needs and requirements of the service in the university. All right. So please, when you read the circular or the SSPA circular, there are a few things that were highlighted in terms of improvements or enhancement to the current benefits offered by the government. But again, take note that we still have to bring the details of its implementation for adoption in the university to the relevant authority of the university. Because again, I must stress that we have our own governing structure and we have to go by our governance. Okay, so under this topic benefits, we just want to enlighten to all the IIUM community, specifically today, we are meeting the permanent staff of the university. That under SSPA, they cover benefits such as leave, cuti, kelayakan, dia government dia ada macam-macam cuti. Annual leave tu is cuti tahunan, kan? Itu semua orang dapat. Dia ada juga cuti menjaga anak, cuti bersalin, cuti suami, paternity leave, kan? Kita panggil paternity leave, kan? Many leaves, unrecorded, so many leaves. And kebanyakan cuti-cuti ini memang IIUM pun adopt. Okay, tetapi ada the adoption tu, because again, to suit our needs and requirements, mungkin with the adoption tu, we introduce some criteria that's maybe unique to IIUM staff. All right. So that is within the authority of the university, which is the staff service committee. All right. Okay. So we just highlight a few here. Cuti, working hours. Okay. Uniform here is actually the uniform allocation for some staff based on the nature of their scheme of service that requires them to be given uniform. All right. And then medical, the medical benefits, housing, as well as children childcare subsidy. So what we highlight, there are many under SSPA, but what we highlighted here is closer to us, closer to IIUM, because we can relate to this, because we have been enjoying these benefits based on the university's decision to adopt previously. All right. So the benefits provided under SSPA, okay, so we put it in bold that it is subject to adoption by the university with modification, because while it is mentioned in the circular SSPA, but the details of it, according to PSD, some matters, some benefits, they will issue out a separate circular. So we, at this moment, for some things stated in the circular, we cannot put forward to the university management yet until we receive the full circular on the subject matter, on the benefits highlighted under SSPA. All right, so the university may adopt the new and enhanced benefits outlined in the SSPA, of course, based on our requirement, needs, financial capability, and all the other considerations that the university would normally look into in deciding whether or not to adopt in totality or with modification. All right, next, so that's on benefits. Allowances. So that's why there's only one slide on benefits. Sebab tak boleh nak cerita banyak. Sebab dia cuma sepintas lalu di-mention dan dinyatakan akan ada perkeliling. Akan ada perkeliling. So we will have to wait for the perkeliling. Okay, allowances. Okay, payment of allowances. For payment of allowance under the SSPA, I think this one in general, under SSPA, existing staff will continue to receive a fixed rate based on the last amount received before the effective date of SSPA, while new appointees or existing staff who are newly qualified will receive a new fixed rate based on their service group and grade. So the allowances provided under SSPA is subject to adoption by the university with modification. Okay, number 3, there are about 91 types of allowances in the public service. And not all the allowances are relevant to IIUM because kan tadi service classification kita tak ada tentera, kita tak ada askar dengan tentera sama. I mean kita tak ada tentera, so dia ada mungkin dalam 91 allowance tu ada juga allowance yang relevant kepada this service classification. So yes, the public service they have that 91, but in IIUM yang we adopt at present based on our record is about 29 types. 29 types of allowances. Boleh cakap ke antaranya contoh? Contoh apa yang oh, okay, bayaran insentif pakar, the specialist, our specialist doctors, medical lecturers, dental lecturers. Okay, so those are some of the examples of allowances that we adopted in IIUM. Okay, all right, so the university may adopt the allowances again based on the financial capability of the university. All right, next. Okay, oh dah ada kat sini. All right, so these are some of the 91. Sorry. Okay, just now I mentioned about the in general the allowances that they have in the public service, and we adopted some number of about 29 types of allowances. Okay, under SSPA, this is another topic on itself. Under SSPA, the incentives or the allowances affected in IIUM by virtue of the adoption of the SSPA is the abolishment of some allowances. Okay, so under SSPA, the government abolished some allowances, 11 allowances. Okay, but the allowance that will affect our staff would be the number 8, which is bayaran insentif subjek pendidikan English incentive allowance. Alright. Okay. So, method of payment of fixed allowance. Just now, the first slide on allowance, we just put the general principle of what is stated in the SSPA. So now they have elaborated on the method of payment of fixed allowance, in particular, the civil service allowance. Critical service allowance. Critical service allowance. Bayaran, apa?
Critical. Allowance critical.
Allowance critical. Okay. Bayaran insentif perkhidmatan kritikal. Madam Nili diorang servis, saya sebut tak penuh, dia minta saya sebut dengan penuh. Okay, so it's critical service allowance. Alright, so under SSPA, it provides that for existing staff who are currently receiving critical service allowance, okay, the fixed rate will be based on the last amount of critical service allowance received before the effective date of SSPA. Okay, this is very important, brothers and sisters, because many, I think, we have our staff, be it in the academics and also the administrators who are receiving the critical service allowance because of their service scheme. Okay, so like, for instance, our legal officers, they are receiving the critical service allowance because their scheme of service provides for that. Unfortunately for Najiha, administrative officer, no critical service allowance. Okay, so it goes by the requirement of your scheme, and also the professional qualification or the qualification or the criteria that is necessary to be fulfilled to make that person eligible for this critical service allowance. All right. So under the SSPA, the critical service allowance will be on a fixed rate. So at the moment in the university, since we adopted SSM, but this allowance has been around like forever already, since SSB pun dah ada, dia menggunakan percentage. Okay. Ada yang dapat percentage, ada yang dapat fixed rate sekarang, bawah SSM. For example, our legal officers, they are getting this critical service allowance based on percentage. Ada lagi yang percentage engineer, yang kejuruteraan. Kejuruteraan pun percentage. While some service schemes like our Okay. While yang fixed rate, yang civil service, but I want to give you the example kan supaya boleh bayangkan. Jadi yang tadi percentage, yang scheme of service macam the legal officers, while yang fixed rate, yang lupa pula Nili dah cakap. Apa tadi? Pharmacy, architecture, dia fixed rate. Antaranya yang dapat tu dalam I think RM750, something like that. Okay, so under SSPA, yang if the staff decided to choose SSPA, the critical service allowance under SSPA will be semua on fixed rate. Okay, dia dah tak ada percentage, dia dah tak semua fixed rate. Tetapi how do they determine the fixed rate for those who are already enjoying based on the percentage? Dia akan mengambil the last amount of the critical service allowance of that staff before the effective date of SSPA on 1st December. So maknanya still go back to the salary slip yang 30th November 2024 tu, dia punya critical service allowance yang dapat based on percentage tu berapa amount yang tertera di situ, itulah amount yang dia akan dapat secara fixed rate di bawah SSPA. Yes, correct. Thank you, Sister Nita, for highlighting that. Yeah, sebab I think yelah, government pun dekat public service lagilah ramai kan bila you dapat critical service 5%, 5% on your basic salary. If you are serving like dah berpuluh-puluh tahun, mestilah 5% tu from day one you masuk dengan sekarang the difference is a lot, right? So 15% like for our nurses. So for number one tu, for existing staff, they have been getting according to percentage. Sebab tu government dalam SSPA dia guna yang last amount tu. Maknanya that last amount tu will be 15% times the current salary of the staff lah, yang pada gaji 30 November 2024. Okay, but number two, Sister Nita, number two, for new appointees, terus pakai rate fix yang SSPA. Okay, so the fixed rate is as per the table shown on the slides. Okay, dan it is put in such a way that dia membaca grade lah, kan? Support group tadi, kalau bawa SSPA now 1 to 4 is 135. 5 to 8 is 150, while 9 to 15 is 165. Okay. All right. Next. Okay, Nili volunteered to share this slide. She insists.
No, basically, this slide we would like to tell all of you, if you refer to the keliling number 1 2024 of the SSPA, kalau apa tu we go for that keliling, we will see that kadar dipegunkan. So only one allowance that affected under this SSPA untuk kadar yang dipegunkan. Actually under SSPA ada dua lah, ITKA and critical service allowance. But ITKA we don't have that scheme that perlu dipegunkan. Kalau English properly lah, we use now is fixed, but basically it's a freeze amount of your critical service allowance at in the payment of November 2024. Okay, that's why I think this is quite viral, because some said that probably my critical allowance will go back to the rate that appear in the table, the earlier slide, 165. But I mentioned just now, if our critical service allowance in the month of November 2025 already more than that the rate of given by under SSPA, so that rate will be dipegunkan. Dia dihentikan di situ until the end of your service. So in the perkeliling they call it KUP. So khas untuk you lah, untuk penyandang, that you already got this allowance. So that is the meaning of dipegunkan, if let's say you would like to go by the perkeliling lah. Okay, so kalau I just continue from what Madam Jiha is saying just now, in this table, simulation, we have two simulations, simulation A and simulation B, basically just to show that if your previous critical allowance at the higher rate, so that rate will be dipegunkan, will be freeze. At the fixed rate, it will be based, that rate will be used as a fixed rate to you as on personal to holder basis. Okay, simulation A. Okay, in this case, our nurse on grade U44. Okay, under the current scheme, you see until 30th November 2024, you see the basic salary for this particular staff on grade U44, 6,808.29. Okay, what happened that on the 30th, of course, there is no adjustment yet, right? But we want to show that during this scheme saraan, the current scheme, we have critical service allowance at the rate of 680.83. Why 680.83? Because it's already joining us more than, I'm not sure, probably more than 3 or 4 years, because remember, nurse, they have the critical service allowance 15% of their basic salary. So the critical allowance berkadar langsung is a relative to the basic salary. Okay, if you see this one, it's more than the figure given in the table under SSPA. The rate for our management and professional group should be under SSPA is 165, right? But in this case, you see, if the nurse on grade U44 up for SSPA, the next column, on 1st December 2024, the grade will be changed to U10. Remember the formula? U44 will be placed on U10, and then the basic salary will be the same, right? This is the basic salary. The best part is that you will be adjusted. Okay, this nurse will be adjusted on the 8% of the basic salary. So the additional of 544 ringgit.67. Okay, you see, this is the one we would like to highlight. The critical service allowance remained because it's already higher than 165 rate that under the SSPA. So this is the good thing of this for SSPA, right? If you remain in our current scheme under SSM, so you just get this 680.83 based on the 15%. But this one will follow until end of service under personal to holder. Whereas for those new hire, they won't get this much as you. They will get 165 only. Right, that's the good part of SSPA. And then probably we like to show the comparison if, let's say, simulation B, next simulation B, we have a scheme that have the critical service allowance, under management and professional group. In this simulation is for grade 41, basic salary 2,095, and then the critical service allowance is 104.75. Some of our scheme, they have a 5% of the basic salary, engineering, architecture, right? Okay, the total income now is 2,199 ringgit 75 cents. Okay, what happened if this guy opt for SSPA on 1st December 2024? You see the basic salary is the same. And then since the salary is below 3,000, the salary adjustment for first one will be 240. You see the good part of this, if those salary below 3,000, 8% of 3,000 is less than 200, right? Okay, because we would like to punya ragaman distribution of and the fair distribution of the salary, so the government give the minimum 240. If we just go by the formula 8%, this our staff on salary below 3,000, you won't get that 240. So because you are below 3,000, you will get the minimum. That's what the cost 8% or 240. So in this case, because the salary is below 3,000, so you will get 8% minimum 240. And then you see the critical service allowance. The previous one is 104. Right, in the current scheme, on the 30th November 2024, the critical service allowance is 104. Right now, it will change to the new rate. That's much better, right? Although this one is berkadar langsung relative to the basic salary, but since the scheme now is 104 ringgit 745 based on 5% of your basic, but you will be getting, since it is less than 165, you'll be getting 165 in the new scheme, in the new salary structure for this critical service allowance. So you see the income will show you a difference of quite a huge difference from 2,199 to 2,005. So this is simulation for those on just to understand how the critical service allowance under the kadar yang diperhitungkan will be practiced, will be exercised. Okay, I pass back to Madam.
Thank you, Madam Millie. Okay, so Alhamdulillah, we're done with the that part. Now we move on to topic G, talent management and career advancement. Okay. So for those of you who wants to read the circular, the pengurusan bakat talent management, it is stated under page 54 all the way to page 61. Okay. Terus slide-nya. Alright. So again, remember the objectives of the implementation of SSPA to the public service as announced by the government as we stated in the earlier slides. So yes, the government has decided to basically introduce a more competitive remuneration system in terms of the salary structure, the new salary structure. But at the same time, it relates to the objective of ensuring or the government aspire for the public service to be more efficient, in their service delivery and whatnot. So of course that goes to the topic of the assessment or the performance assessment of the staff. So if we could summarize it, that the new remuneration system or the new salary structure, it is more of a performance-based, performance-based. So under this topic of talent management, the circular highlighted that for annual salary increment, okay, they will go by the principles of adil, and telus, which means fair and transparent, okay, and the criteria for a staff to be eligible for the ASI is that the performance must be satisfactory, prestasi yang memuaskan, memenuhi tempoh yang melayakkan, which means that fulfill the duration, the eligibility duration for ASI. Normally, for new staff, they must have at least served for more than 6 months to be eligible for ASI the following year. Number 3, lulus tapisan tata tertib. This is kind of new, right? This is new. Lulus tapisan tata tertib. This is new. Okay, because yang number 2 tu SSM pun itu betul lah, tempoh prestasi pun still looking at. But 3, lulus tapisan tata tertib tu sekarang tak ada. But SSPA kena. And then perakuan ketua jabatan lah kan. You have the recommendation of the head of department. Alright. So in IIUM. Alright, so this is the public service. In IIUM, now that the university is adopting SSPA, and on these matters, the pages that I mentioned just now, you can go and read, that the details of it memang dikata akan diperincikan dalam panduan, apa ayat dia? Akan diperincikan di dalam panduan yang akan diberikan kemudian. Akan diperincikan melalui panduan berasingan. That's the sentence they use lah. Alright, so because of that, definitely we cannot go beyond what's stated in the SSPA. However, in the context of IIUM, I guess we may need to be ready, which means that if the university authority decided to adopt this, when we receive the circular later on the criteria for ASI, kan? So this could also be one of the criteria in considering the staff ASI, which is the additional criteria of lulus tapisan tata tertib. Okay. So kalau dekat sebelah tu kan, so now for annual salary increment, SSPA, they are looking at performance, tempoh yang melayakkan plus lulus tapisan tata tertib. I guess mesti ada reason kan, they add on this. Maknanya performance tu mesti selari lah dengan how you carry yourself in the university. It's wholesome, a wholesome assessment. Not just on the performance in your field, in your job, but also dari segi conduct lah. Yeah. Alright. Apa lagi nak highlight kat sini ni?
80 hari tu.
Oh, okay. Ini pun macam kriteria yang tidak melayakkan untuk dapat SI. Sekarang pun in our university, since we adopted SSB, SSM, we also follow or we also adopted the similar criteria that is used by the government. So for staff who went on unpaid leave, yeah, I think kadang unpaid leave due to personal reason, unpaid leave to follow spouses, and whatnot. If the unpaid leave is more than 180 days in that assessment year, the staff will not be eligible for ASI. So dia tidak memenuhi tempoh yang melayakkan tu lah. Yeah? Sebab the condition must be read together lah. So dia kalau dia banyak lah kan selain daripada cuti, CTG tu cuti tanpa gaji, CSG tu cuti separuh gaji. Cuti separuh gaji for many of us yang mungkin tak familiar, cuti separuh gaji ni kadang-kadang selalu yang we normally get applications is from mothers who need to care for their maybe sick children. Kan? So they have exhausted their annual leave and therefore they need to take care of their child. Therefore they can apply for cuti separuh gaji before kalau dia dah exhausted cuti separuh gaji and still need more leave, then there is the cuti tanpa gaji pula. So if the staff, the mother is in this category and a combination of cuti tanpa gaji, cuti separuh gaji melebihi 180 hari for that assessment year, tak layak lah untuk ASI. Okay. Dan tidak menjalankan tugas jawatan melebihi, kenapa I tengok kat sana sini ada? Okay. Tidak menjalankan tugas jawatan melebihi 180 hari. Okey, ini kalau THB ni apa? THB tanpa kebenaran perintah tahanan atau perintah pemulihan pun tak layak juga 180 hari tu. Kalau benda ni berlaku, staff tu tak layak. And then gagal tapisan tata tertib, I've explained just now, tak layak. Then kombinasi tempoh cuti tanpa gaji, cuti separuh gaji serta tempoh tidak menjalankan tugas melebihi. Combination pun can be. Combination ni maknanya dia cuti tanpa gaji is only 80 days. But the 180 days tu dia mungkin tidak menjalankan tugas di jawatan tersebut. So it still comes to 180 days in that assessment year. Therefore tak layak juga untuk dapat ASI. Okay. So that's ASI. Jadi ASI penambahbaikan yang dibuat oleh SSPA and SSPA tu is as shown lah. Yang paling penting yang lulus tapisan tata tertib. Okay, next. Performance based incentive. Again, ini pun we're not able to explain in a great detail because the information in the circular is still very limited. But just for information, okay, they will have the bayaran incentive under SSPA. they introduce performance-based incentive, bayaran insentif prestasi. This shows how serious the government is about performance-based lah reward kan. So dia buat performance-based incentive, bayaran insentif prestasi. So kepada pegawai kumpulan pelaksana, these are the support group. Remember the 3 categories of service group tadi. So these are the support group. Dan prestasi macam tu maknanya high performer lah kan. High performance and lulus tapisan tata tertib. Setakat ni tu je lah yang dia bagi tahu. Selebihnya nanti bila kita dapat the garis panduan yang lebih terperinci, once we receive the specific circular on this, of course we will bring it to the university authority for consideration on adoption ke ataupun macam mana, that will be informed to the staff later lah. We cannot say much today because details pun is not provided clearly in the SSPA document. Alright, so kalau layak dilantik secara tetap pegawai grade 3, 4 ni tidak layak menolak. Kalau if you, of course lah, if you don't opt for SSPA, I mean if this category of staff they decided not to accept SSPA, this will not be applicable to them lah. Alright, okay. Kejap. Okay, so sekarang kalau tengok SEDs, the support group, SEDs, our support staff yang grade dekat yang 447, 44 kan, they are already enjoying yang time-based promotion. Time-based promotion berasaskan kecemerlangan. That's what TBK stands for. So they have TBK level 1. Maknanya TBK level 1, kalau I can give you an example, our staff admin assistant and administrative assistant and 19, after 13 years, if they fulfill all the criteria for time-based promotion, they can be promoted based on TBK 1 to grade 22. This is current, current. And then once they fulfill duration of service of 13 years on grade 22 and also fulfill all the criteria for promotion for TBK2, they can be considered for promotion to TBK2 to grade 26. Okay, so now the government under SSPA is introducing BIP. Maksudnya lepas TBK2 tu ada lagi untuk support group. Ada performance-based incentive. Alright. Next, career advancement for management and professional group. Ni pun we really cannot say much because page 57 to 60 talks about this in 3 pages, just an overview, and it's stated there again, diperincikan melalui panduan berasingan. So until we receive the details, we would not be able to share more than what is stated in the SSPA. But whatever it is, again, since we have our own governance structure, if we do receive the perkeliling perkhidmatan, we will bring to the relevant university authority to be deliberated, considered, and if they decided to adopt with modification or in totality, will be subject to the university authority. All right. So just an overview. Maybe Madam Lily can help me out on this. So they have introduced under SSPA one-off promotion for those on grade 9, 10, 12 under SSPA. So when we refer to 9, 10, 12, for the administrative staff, kan, dia macam grade, kalau science officer tu S41, is grade 9, kan. Lepas tu, so these are the category of people. Jadi kata one off promotion ni is for those yang sekarang SSM ni grade 41, 44, 48. Sekarang bawah grade SSPA grade 9, 10, 12. So yang grade Cik Din tak boleh lagi. Cik Din grade tak boleh. dia tak masuk dalam kategori ni 9, 10, 12. Okay, so tapi in the SSPA also is limited to, tak boleh nak cerita banyak lah sebab dia macam cakap, but they want to improve the career advancement lah, because they I think the spirit is that we know for promotion of administrative staff is based on vacancy of post. Okay, unlike the academics, like for instance, the university lecturer scheme, currently under SSPM, your post as you join as DS51, it is a flexi post all the way to VK5. Okay, using the same warrant. So it is not subject to vacancy. While for the administrative staff, from grade 41 to go to grade 48, there must be a vacancy of post on grade 48, which means that Najihah retires, vacate the post, then someone can come in and fill up my post. Something like that. Okay, so taking that into consideration, they introduced the one-off promotion for, but again, the details of it kita tak tahu, tapi spiritnya lebih kurang begitulah yang kita faham daripada taklimat yang kita pergi hari tu. Yeah. So the details of it we have to wait. And then B, promotion, of course dia ada promotion for excellent criteria. This one dia specifically provide for specific service classification. C, science officer tadi C lah. I tersebut S, sorry. Baru perasan. Sorry, science officer, you punya service classification is C. S is our librarians. Okay. Apa tadi? Okay, so for this service classification, C, U, E, dia ada career advancement yang dia panggil promotion for excellent criteria. Maknanya, dia introduce kenaikan pangkat tanpa perlu ada jawatan kosong. Kan? Secara prinsipnya tadi, in principle, we said that for administrative staff, promotion, merit-based promotion is based on vacancy of post. Okay, but under SSPA, for this category, for this service category of service classification, boleh naik. Tetapi ada kriterianya yang tunggu sekala. Tak boleh cakap lebih sebab tak dimention secara terperinci. Okay, tapi untuk 3 ni sahaja. Gitu. So kalau dekat IIUM kita ada C and U. E kita tak ada. Okay. Next one, flexi grade promotion. Okay, flexi grade promotion macam sekarang pun bawah SSM pun kita ada. Kalau administrative staff, we have grade 41, flexinya 44, 41/44, so it's flexi. So if we conduct a merit-based promotion, the staff can be promoted to 44 upon fulfilling the promotion criteria, and they are going to be using the same post lah, basically the same warrant that is being approved by the central agency. Okay. So for this one, maybe Lily can help on that.
For one of the type that they would like to improve for the career advancements is a flexi grade promotion for those on grade 9, 10, 11, basically those the scheme that don't have the time-based promotion, right? Okay, this is under 9, 10, and 12. But what we can have the early information from GP is that for this type of promotions is meant for those who make in their information to us is that penggubalan dasar, meaning the policy, and then they involve in the pengajaran and pembelajaran, involved in learning and teaching, and also research. So the details, we will see the criteria, but we can foresee that for this type of promotions is meant for the JD is around this area. either you have you make some policy change penggolongan dasar, you have a pengajaran dan pembelajaran, and as well pendidikan. So this is meant for the third type of the promotion. And then for the last type of initiative that they introduce is under the subject matter expert. We also yet to receive the details, but what been mentioned to us is the promotion is more or less for the acknowledgement of their promotion based on KUP, based on PTH. So we'll give someone a higher grade on personal holder. For your information, in our university, we already implement this, but I think it's a good exercise from SSPA. They recognize this. In our implementation, yeah, there is another sorry. The first area is for those that we promote on PTH, and then the second area is that those we call that the keutamaan kepada 7 bidang tujuan negara. So they give us the area those involved in AI transformation, digital transformation, what is this? Keselamatan cyber, peralihan tenaga, teknologi makanan, pengurusan bencana dan persempadanan negara. So if we involve in our area of duties at IUM in this FASA SME, they call it FASA SME 2.0, right? Bidang keutamaan tujuan negara. This is what the government is looking right now. So probably when we receive the details of the criteria, we will see either the adoption is relevant to IIM or not. Okay, I guess that's from me.
So I think this is going to be the last slide for me, because then I'll hand over the mic to Madam Nili. It's on the exit policy. Okay. So under the SSPA circular, this is stated under page 61. The paragraph on this is this short. Banyak ni je. Dan dia mention bawah item 131, macam ni je paragraph dia dalam berapa ni? 6 baris, 6 baris lah kan? 6 baris, 6 row, 6 sentence. And then 132, dia nyatakan penambahbaikan pelaksanaan dasar pemisah ataupun exit policy ini diperincikan melalui panduan yang berasingan. So we will be getting another perkeliling perkhidmatan lah on this exit policy. But just so that everybody listening here today maybe need to know that the current exit policy of the university is also an adoption of the exit policy that was issued by the government through perkeliling perkhidmatan. But again, the adoption that were done by the university, of course, has got some modification, because again, our internal system is not exactly the same as those in the public service. Okay, I think on this point, maybe we can highlight that when we talk about exit policy, even now we have the exit policy in the university. The worst case scenario that would come out of this is termination of service. Okay, if it is related to, let's say, performance, of course they have to go through, under our current policy also, they have to go through certain due process. It's not easy to terminate staff. Okay, we are governed by the Employment Act, by the Industrial Relations Act. But the point that we want to make here is that we are different from the public service in such that when it comes to employment law, okay, when it comes to employment law, especially the exit policy, we have also to comply with the provisions of the Industrial Relations Act and also basically the Industrial Relations Act and the Employment Act. Because if the staff who are being terminated by the university and feels that the termination is without just cause and excuse, they can actually lodge a complaint to the industrial court. Yeah. While in the public service, the public officers, pembuangan kerja pegawai perkhidmatan awam, selalunya kalau sekiranya berlaku dan mereka tidak berpuas hati dengan pembuangan kerja tersebut, it normally goes through a judicial review process. Okay, it doesn't go to the industrial court. Correct me, Cik Makmos, kan? Tapi kita UIA, because of our also CLBG status tu, kes-kes yang sebegini, akan dibawa kepada Mahkamah Perusahaan. Ya, sebab kita tertakluk kepada the Industrial Relations Act. Okay, so with that said, I cannot say more on this exit policy except that we just highlight here if the achievement of key performance indicators, the KPI, is below target, yeah, or any other assessment approved by KPPA ni for public service lah. KPPA ni is Ketua Pengarah Perkhidmatan Awam yang dekat JPA tu kan. So itu untuk special grade group, tetapi untuk the professional and management group and support group in the government, the current performance evaluation score of the officer is below 75%. Okay. Yang perubahan yang mereka, the government did under SSPA, under the exit policy tu is actually the markah, kalau in our context APAR lah, kan, kita pakai annual performance appraisal report. Kalau di public service, I think they use laporan penilaian help me out. Laporan penilaian nilai tahunan, LPNT. So, dan the score of the LPNT yang exit policy sekarang is below 60%. Okay, I repeat, the current dasar pemisah yang applicable in the government sector under SSM, yang IIUM also adopted, yeah, is below 60%. So bawah SSPA, they introduce below 75% dah consider poor performance. Sebab bila poor performance tu there is a process that need to be carried out for this category of staff to help them with their performance, yeah. And banyak lagi lah. Tapi again, the details on this, we are not privy to it yet, so we cannot say more on this, except that for all to just take serious attention, to give serious attention to the evaluation score or performance evaluation score of below 75%. All right. So I will now hand over the mic to Sister Asnili. I know you have so many questions. I can see while I'm presenting this, the people online already typing so many questions. So I hope that the team are actually taking notes of this so that we can respond to the questions accordingly at the end of the briefing. So Nili, you have about 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Okay, so apa nak cakap? Okay, so I've covered basically section A all the way to G. Now I will invite Madam Asnili to talk about the section H, which is the option part, and please give special attention to what she's going to share with all of us. Thank you.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Alhamdulillah, because my part only part H, the easiest part, I think, in this presentation. And basically, I'm given 15 minutes. Inshallah, if I can just settle by 10 minutes, I'll do that. Inshallah. Okay, next slide. So, just for information, assuming that you have done your istikharah, right? You would like to just accept the SSPA, or you would like to decline. Okay, we just assume that you have done your istikharah, and then you would like to, okay, Nili, we are already macam excited nak hantar borang ni kan. Okay, how to do about the option form? Okay, this here, what we would like to explain. Just make it easy to understand. Okay, you see to this slide, you see what we have do here. You can see 4 quadrants, right? We name it as A, B, C, and D, right? A, B, and C, and D. This is the simplified version. If you go to the JPA slide or KPT slide, is quite detailed sedikit, but the one that we have simplified is meant for IIUM, right? Okay, quadrant A, B, C, and D, basically, we would like to inform you that this is the type of options that we have under SSPA, right? That relevant to IIUM. So the one under A, option A, is those scheme remained under SSPA. So no one, meaning other than those we mentioned in quadrant B, C, and D, this one will meet you at 3 p.m. We will talk further on this because there is some, you need to understand a little bit more than the scheme under A. So the simple narrative that as long as your current scheme is not under B, okay, I mentioned what is the scheme under B. Remember the one Madam Najiha explaining the early of the slide, those in B1 combined category, right? In JPA they call it scheme yang digabungkan, kan? Scheme yang digabungkan that affected in IUM only 2 schemes, driver and operation assistant. Okay, these 2 scheme of service, they will be in option B1. And then option B2, public health assistant, and option B3, security guard. So these all 4 schemes will meet at 3 p.m. to talk further, as well as those schemes stated in quadrant C, meaning equivalent to option C of SSPA, is the list of abolishments of scheme of service under SSPA. So only 5 schemes in IUM that affected: publisher, assisting publishing officer, publishing assistant, customer service officer, and finance officer. So this group also will meet you at 3 p.m. today. And another one category that mentioned by JP is that the scheme that been abolished during the SSM, right? One scheme affected still in IUM is one scheme, that is our technician, grade J19, J22, and J26. So those are listed under option B, C, and D, kan, scheme yang kita dah letak dekat situ tu. So probably we will dwell with you in details this at 3 p.m. Alright. So the rest, other than the schemes listed, so we are all in option A. So meaning the form that you will decide whether you would like to accept the SSPA or you would like to decline the SSPA is option A, and form that relevant to those in option A is form G. Okay, that's all that I think are very relevant to those present today, because most of us is permanent staff. Okay, all A, B, and C is all permanent staff, but only specific schemes that affected. So other than that, just remember, in SSPA, your option is option A, and your form that applicable to you is form G. So make sure when I'll inform how the distribution and the submission of the form will be given, you just mark to yourself that I'm just getting form G only, right? For those permanent, other than scheme listed under B, C, and D. Okay, that's all. Okay. Just for information, okay, option A, when we tell you that this is a scheme that remain under SSPA, so you will be getting from us form G. Okay, in form G, you will be getting another, we will come to you with 4 appendixes. ada 4 lampiran. Lampiran 1, 2, 3 dan 4. For appendixes, appendix 1, 2 and 3. So just before I start the information on the next slide, just to inform what meant for lampiran 1, lampiran 2, lampiran 3, lampiran 4 of the option forms. Basically, in our case normally kalau in IUM tu kita buat satu form, kita sectionkan dia kan, section 1, 2, 3 and 4. But under SSPA, they make it different lampiran. So that's why we will be getting 4 lampiran. So basically lampiran A, lampiran 1, so you will be getting G1, G2, G3 and G4. Itu sahaja, G1, G2, G3 and G4. So just I would like to name what is G1, what is G2, what is G3, what is G4. G1 is basically is the offer of the options. It's a surat tawaran from majikan. So the offer will be issued by the university to all of us. So mentioning, okay, you nak terima tak this tawaran? Macam tu lah. That is the offer. Is under lampiran 1. So the G2 is acknowledgement of the offer. Meaning you just tell us that you receive that tawaran. Bukan accept lagi, baru receive. Diseparatekan juga. Right? So that one is G2. Just mentioned it, okay, because they would like to make sure that all of us receive that offer from the majikan masing-masing lah, from the employer masing-masing. Okay, and then next will be G3. Appendix 3 will be the option form. This is the most important thing that you have to if you need to do istikharah, by all means kan, you would like to go for SSP or not, okay, this is the important form. Lampiran G3 is option form. Just tick right whether you accept or just tick whether you decline that offer. And then the next lampiran is lampiran 4. G4 is acknowledgement of receipt. This one will be issued by the employer, by the university, back to us, back to staff, mentioning that we receive your decision. Right, this surat akuan dipanggil, surat akuan daripada majikan that we receive your decision. Okay, this 4 lampiran is very important. Make sure when we say that it's a complete set, meaning it's complete set, we mean that is a 4 lampiran altogether. One set will have 4 appendix, 4 lampiran, lampiran 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, next slide. Okay, this how the distribution of the option form will be done. Basically, this is what requested by GPA. Basically, we are following their instructions. Okay, all staff. Okay, we will appointing your officer or liaison officer of respective KCDIOMs at IIUM. Right now, we have 64 KCDIOMs, including SUSMAC. So we minus SUSMAC, we have 63 KCDIOMs in IIUM. SUSMAC will be doing together with us, but they will put the collection and distribution from their end. Okay, at IIUM, okay, what we'll do is that your respective KCDIOMs, the one that we call it liaison officer, right? Liaison officer. For your information, yesterday we have a briefing with all the liaison officer dekat kuliah. Kita jumpa almost 100 lebih lah attended our briefing yesterday. So this liaison is our duta lah, basically we call it. Sebab JPA panggil kami duta juga sekarang. Dia kata congratulations, you is now you are the duta of SSPA. And so today we will we would like to inform that yesterday we have our meeting with all the KSDIOM's liaison. Yes, appointed ambassador, Madam Edie will issue a letter to them, inshallah. So what we'll do, because we would like to have a smooth running of distribution of the option, so you just bear with me, that your liaison will print 2 set of forms. Remember, 2 set of forms, when we call it set of forms, meaning one set will have 4 appendix, alright? So you have to have 2 sets. Why 2 sets? Dia dah macam look like agreement you buy house kan. One set you will keep by yourself, and then another one is siapa yang offer you lah. So there are 2 set of forms. 2 set of forms. print 2 sets, KCDIO will help us, our liaison will help us to print based on the names that we give to the KCDIOs, meaning from all the 64 KCDIOMs, they will get the list of names under the purview of that KCDIOMs. All right. And then don't worry, the KCDIOMs already have a briefing with them, inshallah. And then we also have our liaison at MSD, like we call it zoning liaison. Meaning we pecahkan, we group it from the 64, we distribute into 7 zones to cater to assist our liaison at the respective KCDIOMs. That's how we work. Okay. When you get the 2 sets of the form, the first thing the liaison will do is that the tawaran, the first lampiran tu lah, what we call it the option of form, surat tawaran. So this one will be signed by the ketua perkhidmatan, or they call it as head of service. In our narrative is that all the higher position at your KCDIOMs. For SASMAC, already agreed with SASMAC that they will use their ketua jabatan, HODs. Alright. Okay. The first lampiran G1, okay, in this one they put the A1 because it's option A. Basically option A, G1, lampiran G1. Okay. The first offer of option will be signed by the ketua jabatan or your respective deans and directors. Right. In the case of deputy rectors, the rector will sign the surat offer letter, and then the acknowledgement of receipt will be acknowledged by us as a staff. Right, the staff will acknowledge receipt the offer. That is lampiran 2 is very important. Lampiran 1 only your deans or directors. Lampiran 2 is the role of the staff. We will sign acknowledging that we received that offer. Not yet decide, but acknowledging we received that offer. And then lampiran 3, right? You just tell us that you accept or decline that offer, right? When your KCDIO give you this 4 set of lampiran, make sure that A1 already signed by your dean or director. Lampiran 2, you signed, all must be, they call it sign hidup. Maksudnya the living signature or the original signature. You cannot have stamping on it. You cannot use the stamp digital signature or stamp signature. Semua tu tak boleh. Dia akan void and null. Dimaklumkan begitulah. Jadi make sure kan this document is for the purpose of future. So that is what they cautious. Okay, they remind us. Okay, back to option 3, lampiran 3 is option form, and then you just put your decision. InsyaAllah, we know that SSPA, it's all by decision masing-masing lah. Tapi based on the presentation just now, probably all of us can decide whether it's good for us to have SSPA or not. Because we have to remember that nanti kita akan cerita ada satu clause penting lah for those yang accept or decline what applicable to them. Kan, in terms of the perspective of SSPA. This is also important. And then the lampiran 4 is acknowledgement of receipt. This is not done by staff. Go back, the one issue the tawaran, issue the offer. Meaning, kalau katalah lampiran 1 itu Dean KICT yang sign, akuan untuk lampiran 4 pun disign oleh orang yang sama. Begitu sahaja. Jadi, we as staff, our concern is that lampiran 2 dan 3, Appendix 2 and 3, you have to sign. And then option lampiran 3, you have to sign to tell us whether you accept or not. And then 1 and 4 is meant for your respective dean and director, whoever equivalent for the one that have the authority to issue the offer of option. Right? Okay. That's why we say that the complete set of options must be kept one by staff. And another set will be transit at KCDIM. When they have completed all, they will send to our zoning liaison at MSD. Because from there, we have another several steps to be done before the adjustment of the salary can be done. Okay, that's why we have a briefing, a special briefing with our liaison, because the collaboration and the understanding with all is very important, right? Okay, for your information, since the pelarasan gaji in December 2024 will be effective 1st December, and then just kita pun tahu kan gaji December kita ada Christmas. Whenever ada public holiday, public holiday, festival, gaji will be given much earlier. In December, kalau siapa yang biasa check jadual gaji, December dia tak berlaku lah gaji masuk on the 23rd or 24, 25 tu. So December will be earlier. Kalau tahu berapa bulan kan? Yes, 19 kan cepat kan. Jadi to be fair with those dekat payroll, so the government give instruction that for those has made the decision to opt the SSPA, they give the complete set to the in our case is MSD. Liaison give the complete set to MSD by 15 on November. Okay, this group, the adjustment of the salary will be done in your payroll system for the payment of salary December 2024. Maksudnya siapa yang buat decision cepat daripada kita buka 21 hingga 30, we open the period of options from 21st October to 30th November. So you have 40 days to decide, right? But for those yang decide earlier kan, dia dah dapat macam bagus-bagus ni SSPA kan. So kita buka je 21st October, 22nd dia dah hantar, contoh kan. So group yang boleh decide awal from 21st sampai 15 of November, the salary adjustment will be appear in our payslip in December 2024. However, for those yang fikir panjang kan, you need time to discuss with siapa-siapa yang terbabit kan. They just give me after 15 until 30th, the decision that we receive after 15 onwards until 30th of November, your adjustment of salary and the SSPA will be adjusted in the month of January 2025. Tapi we adjust juga lah the December punya salary. It's just that you give the option form lambat. Itu sahaja. Right? So in this case, adjustment of salary, those yang tak, yang decline SSPA tak affected lah. That's why the period given by government 40 days only to really make your decision if you think that the SSPA is good for us, because the salary structures is quite significant change in our salary monthly slip, then you make decision earlier, because after 30th of November 2024, there is no option open for us anymore. So we have to decide within these 40 days only, right? Okay, that is very important. I think the distribution of and the collection of SSPA form by now kita pun faham dah bagaimana kita manage the distribution. And then if you had a question on the option, just liaise with our liaison at the kuliah. And then if the kuliah cannot assist, still can assist, just by all means you can come to us on Wednesday. Okay, this is the point that I would like to stress a little bit more, is that option conditions, right? Okay, the option is considered invalid and void if the information submitted is inaccurate. That's why in form that you will be receiving from your liaison, it in the form that a pre-filled form, we already put your scheme, your minimum maximum JGMM, remember the MMSS. Okay, if let's say we just leave to all of you to fill up yourself, we afraid that something not right, inaccurate, and then you will fall under invalid and void, right? So it's our duty from HR perspective, we will assist that part first, right? We try to do it that the form that you receive is the correct option form, right? We make a mail merge, and then we already identify which category, which option that be related to the respective staff. And then please remember the second part is that another party sign on behalf of the officer also will be invalid and void. Right? Tak boleh lah nak naik gaji and then katakan husband yang kerja, isteri yang sign. Contoh macam itulah. Okay, but the most important is that dia berlaku dalam keadaan invalid and void kalau kata lampiran B and lampiran 2 dan 3 tadi tu tak make choice. You just return kosong, right? no option, no decision given. So that one, when we receive that form, will be considered as void. Kita tolak tepi, then you stay at the current scale of salary lah. Dia tak go under SSM yang ada adjustment 7% tu, 8%, sorry. SSPA, right? And then making a choice with condition. Dia pun dah remind kita, be careful kalau you dah choice kata agreed lah. Jangan kata, oh I only agree for the salary adjustment je. Yang lain I nak juga. Kan, tak boleh ubah. Dia put additional condition pula kepada terms and condition. Itu pun akan tolak siap-siap. And then making a choice with amendment. Dia pula yang betulkan ayat-ayat dalam form tu. Kan kita dah duduk dengan legal, duduk pening, dia ubah pula kan. Suka macam tu kan. Itu pun akan void. Jadi, yes. Nanti dia kata, apa ni, MSD, the grammar is not correct lah. In this form, kan dia put dalam tu. Janganlah. Kena reject.
Make sure grammar correct.
Itulah dia. So making an unclear choice. Tik macam tik kecil je. Sebenarnya nak ke tak? Dia macam borang undi kan. Kalau di request tu, kalau X tu X lah betul-betul. Jangan luar kotak. Jangan X kat luar kotak. In this case, SCPA, if you accept the offer, the tick box tu kan, put nicely dalam box tu. Jangan tick dekat luar kotak. Ataupun big besar kan. Dah sentuh kotak yang bawah. Kita pun tak tahu you nak yang mana kan. And then making a choice based objection, macam yang tadi Asal mula jugalah. Dia ada condition lah, dia object lah. Dia kata mana boleh kan, patutnya 10%. Patutnya nak bagi 15, bagilah terus fasa 1. Waktu dia kat situ. Kan, adalah macam-macam kan, boleh nakal-nakal. Tapi sebab we have to take this very serious because this is the requirement of JPA. It's not our internal requirement. And then do not return the option form. So for those yang kita, okay, that's why the responsibility from our liaison respective case, that's very important because MSD and kuliah, kita akan make sure that staff yang pergi study leave, yang unpaid leave, yang secondment, we have to reach them to get this form. Right? Katalah staff hilang, kan? MIA. Itulah, di kuliah ni kita beritahu semalam dah. Liaison, please, you search them until, kalau kata dia duduk dekat ceruk mana pun, bagi form ni. Carilah macam mana kan, kita sama-sama. You have the problem, just apa ni, kita work together. Right? Even our staff yang on study leave kan, kita based on experience lah. Based on sometimes staff yang pergi study leave ni, dia tak buka our official email. Right? Dia dah ada email apa ni, under the affiliation of the new tempat dia study kan, tempat self study. But remember for option SSPA ni, when we issue the option, please well informed that you have to make decision whether you decline or you accept. So kita akan bersama-sama dengan liaison akan carilah. So kalau kata ada staff yang sakit kan di rumah, terlantar tak boleh nak sign, this is kind of group of staff yang kita kena pay attention. We have to reach them. We have to make sure that every one of us under the schemes under IIUM sign the SSPA. You have to tell us whether you accept or not. Okay. This is the important slide of all, I think. Okay, this is not from us, but it's from JPA. Next slide. Okay. Okay. You see, agreed to option but have yet to meet the conditions. Okay. This is very important slide. What we would like to share is that, okay, the first box, right? Agreed to the option but have yet to meet the conditions, have not met the condition of the service scheme under SPA. This group, if you remember, the one that SPM, they don't have the SPM, but we will go by the experience, right? Experience to make them place under the grade 1. Okay, this is the group. And then we have another group, not agree to the option. Okay, this both category of staff kan, yang tak meet condition yet and not agree to the option. Okay, both akan remain in the service scheme and service condition under SSM on PTH. Right, on personal to holder. Because tak layak lagi kan. So dia punya salary semua tu remain masih dekat salary sekarang lah. Okay. But we have to remember, even though you not agree to the option, okay, the listed list on the right side of the slide is applicable to all. Okay, what is it? Abolishment of scheme or service scheme. Of course lah, kalau scheme tu dah tak ada, memang tak ada lah dekat SSPA kan. And then the appointment of head service is okay. In our perspective is all the KCDIO, the deans and directors, deputy directors, rectors is our head of service. Okay, that's still applicable. The fixed allowance rate, the new and improved benefits still applicable to you. Although you are not agree to SSPA, the benefits under SSPA is still applicable to you. Performance appraisal, meaning if you remain on your scheme under SSM, under our current scheme, until 30th November, and then you didn't opt for the SSPA, appraisal, our APAR is still applicable to you. Kan dia macam tu tau. Bukan kata kalau kata kita not go by the SSPA, by using the RC just now. Remember the RC, current RC, those yang below 60 tak dapat kan? Right. Okay. Tapi in this case, if you not opt to SSPA, if let's say the university revise based on SSPA, right, in the light of the adoption of the perkeliling nanti, right, the performance appraisal will applicable to you. So this one is very important to be understand. As well the RC eligibility. Remember the RC eligibility, performance, these two parts. Although you object to the SSPA, this is applicable to you. And then the recognition, training, and exit policy as well. So masing-masing boleh istikharah lah. Because because not agree to SSPA only affected to your structure of salary. Most of the elements in the SSPA is still applicable based on the but still subject to the adoption of the university. Right? Okay. The last part we would like to inform you that the option made is final and recorded in the service statement. So meaning katalah kita tutup option be given 40 days, kita tutup on the 30th November 2024. Right? From the 21st October until 30th November 2024. Tiba-tiba ada ketuk pintu, 30th November 2024 is on Saturday. I'm not sure why JPA buka sampai Sabtu. Tapi of course lah, masa tu orang bercuti kan. We are on holiday, our rest day. Jadi, katalah dia kata, oh apa ni MSD, I came to your office on the 30th November 2024. Kan? InsyaAllah lah, we will stand by because that is the offer period that been period given. And then dia kata hari Sabtu I tak boleh datang because I have a wedding. And then can I send this option Monday? Monday tu dah beyond 30th. We are so sorry we cannot receive that one because the option is only 40 days. It's muktamad. Dia macam itulah. So very very important because anything we receive after 30th of November will be regarded as declined SSPA. Because we need to put all names that accepted the SSPA through the Hermes as well. That's why we have to follow the time line that given by the GPA. All right. Okay, this is the option duration that I'm telling you, 40 days only from 21st October 2024. Next slide. 21st October 2024 until 30th November. Okay, just a reminder, build a complete set of SSP options. Those accepted, if you would like to see the adjustment of the salary of 8% or minimum 240, please put your decision before 15 November 2024, right? And those more after 15th until 30th of November, your salary will be adjusted in January 2025 payroll. Okay, I think this one I already spell out. Next, the distribution and submission of form. I already in my presentation tadi I dah cakap secara naratifnya begitulah dia punya proses kan. So just to sum up, macam LO, your liaison officer will receive the data from MSD. We will give the current data that we have. Right? That's why we will check whether the staff is on unpaid leave or half pay leave. This kind of status we will share with the liaison, and then the liaison will print 2 sets, and then the liaison will get the deans or directors to sign on the lampiran appendix 1, And then LO to give lampiran 1, 2, 3 to staff. Staff pula dia punya role is to put the signature on lampiran 2 and 3. And then staff to return the lampiran 2 and 3. It's very important. And then the dean, the one that offer the option will return back the appendix 4. And then the complete, then only we call it the complete set of the form will be given, we will transit at your KSDIOMs, and then your liaison at respective KSDIOM will give to our zoning liaison and MSD. So that is the process. All right? Yeah. Okay, so this one, I think the relevant part is only option A, form G. I already explained. And then probably the most important is that on the remarks. On the remarks, each set of form have 4 appendix, appendix 1, appendix 2, appendix 3, and appendix 4. Okay, the notes below is very important. KCDIOM must print 2 sets of the form, 1 set for the staff and 1 set for MSD. The highest ranking position at which KCDIOM is authorized to sign. Only the one that been authorized will be signed the issuance of the offer. C, digital signature are not permitted, are not allowed. If there is a digital signature be found in the form, is considered as null and void. And then only the HOD as SASMAX is authorized to sign on behalf of the dean of director in our perspective. All right? Okay. I think that's all from me for the option. We would like to, Q&A.
Okay, before the Q&A, can we just go back to the slides, Mira? Lagi? Okay, here. Okay. I think as I mentioned in my earlier briefing, that when we talk about the SSPA option, we have to remember we have to be looking at this in the context of IIUM. The one that we are presenting, of course, it comes from the Public Service Department, which is a central agency for the public service officers. But in the context of IIUM, when the university, is adopting this new remuneration system to the IIUM, to the university, therefore, the university will be also offering the option to all the permanent staff, whether or not to accept or to decline the new remuneration system adopted by the university with modifications. So I saw just now from the chat that there was a question, what would be the implication? I mean, we're just talking about all what SSPA is all about, and what would be the implication if they decided to accept or not to accept. So I think this slide is very important because from my briefing, from A until G just now, this is what we pick up from the circular, and most of the slides used, basically we refer to the slides from JPA. But what we want to emphasize here, as Madam Lily said just now, that irrespective of whether you choose or decline, you accept or decline the option, which will be given by the university, the ones in orange on the far right is still applicable to you. Okay, so which means to say, why is that so? Because when the government introduced SSPA, this is going to be the remuneration system that governs the public service. So if the university decides to adopt this new remuneration system with modification in the university, and recognizing or accepting that this would be the case, then this is it. Because as I said in my earlier brief session, that remuneration system is what governs our service in the university. Okay, what governs our service in the university. So the adoption with modification, I think probably people will be asking the implication, like for instance, exit policy. Now they're under SSPA, they only briefly mentioned in a paragraph, but we currently have already our own exit policy, which we also adopted from the government circular. But again, since we have our own governance structure. I'm sure that the university will be looking into whatever perkeliling that the government will be issuing in the near future and see how best it suits our the structure or the way we do things in the university in terms of performance assessment and whatnot. Okay, so with that in mind, we hope that inshallah we'll try to attend to the questions. Our MC will guide us through with the questions so that we can answer as much as possible before we end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Najihah and Madam Asnili for the briefing. All right, so it is mostly a comprehensive briefing on SSPA. All right, so we'll attend to the questions on YouTube and Zoom, right, which have been concluded here. Right, so before your information, Madam, we have still have a full house in Zoom. We have 300 viewers here, with maybe some of them viewing in group, such as we can see here KICT, CFS, Pharmacy, Sspa as well. They are in their auditorium, as well as there are 3,500 viewers in YouTube right now. All right, so the first question from Dr. Asri from Sspa. They're inquiring about time-based promotion for UD, UG, and UF. Is it will be affected or not if they opt for SSPA?
Okay, as per prescribed in the circular, there is no mention at all with regards to any changes to the time-based promotion for this category of scheme of service, which are the medical, dental, pharmacy lecturers, as well as the service scheme. Because for maybe for the others information, time-based promotion, apart from the support group, we also have adopted the government time-based promotion for our medical lecturers, dental lecturers, and also our pharmacy lecturers. At the same time, the university also adopted the time-based promotion for our medical doctors, medical officers, dental officers, as well as our pharmacists. So as it stands now, the information that we have in the SSPA, it is that there is no changes to that. Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, so another one. Will my previous service as DU54 equivalent to DU14 be counted, and time-based promotion will take effect in December to DU15 as planned?
Okay, I think this is in relation to the first question just now, which I've already responded. That as of now, it will go as what the policy is right now, because the SSPA did not touch anything. There's no changes to this scheme, this group. Okay, so I hope the one posing the question will be at ease, inshallah. The whatever time base that is going to be due in December will be processed in accordance with the criteria that the university is implementing right now.
Right. Right. So next question: what is the difference between H11 and N19, which will be upgraded to H1 after this?
Okay, just a quick answer, because this one we will address in more detail in the afternoon session. Would it be okay if we reserve this question for the afternoon session, and at least for the benefit of the larger group, the larger population, we can address those that are relevant to the larger population, because a special session will be held in the afternoon. Najihah will be here until 6, inshallah.
Okay, so another one, what is the step for eligibility for the subject matter expert? For example, some doctors have certification on the medication, OSH, etc. what is the specification or training required to apply for the SME?
Okay. As I mentioned in my briefing just now, we are also waiting for the garis panduan yang akan diedarkan. We don't know when. But briefly in the SSPA, they just mentioned as brief as we just presented to you just now. So we are looking forward to the circular as well. But as soon as we got it, probably we can share on it later. Okay, but we don't have that information right now.
Right. Next one, regarding the information just now that there are few more circulars that yet to receive by the central agency. Do those documents will be received before the SSPA deadline?
We cannot say because we also don't have the information when we went to the briefing with the central agency. But I think right now, the most critical timeline is actually 1st December 2024. Why? Because announcement has been made that the salary adjustment, the public service officers will be receiving the salary adjustment in their December salary. So since the university is adopting the same, that will also happen in the university. Hence, the timeline of 40 days that we follow the government timeline, simply because of the it has to happen now because the salary adjustment has to take effect on 1st December, and the public service officers and in our case IIUM staff will get it in the December salary. But make sure, as the timeline highlighted by Sister Nili, that the option forms must come back to us before the deadline of 15 November, is it? 15 November. Okay, otherwise it will be paid in the following month. So bukan kita tak nak bagi timeline yang lain, tapi because gaji tu. And then when we talk about gaji, as I mentioned in my earlier presentation, our salaries, the budget for our emolument is coming from the central agency. So when they have given this link to us, we have to be ready for that. Yeah, so that's why the rationale for following the timeline given in the SSPA circular is basically just that, for purpose of adoption in IIUM. Right?
Right. So we open for the physical or verbal question. The question in Zoom and YouTube, ada kita punya staff ataupun Saitro dah jawab lah. So kita buka kepada soalan verbal lah, insyaAllah.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Muhammad Aziz bin Ahmad daripada Presiden Kesatuan. Soalan saya ada 4 persoalan. Saya nak tanya, SSPA ini dah diluluskan oleh pihak UIA ke belum? Sama ada pihak SSC, UMC atau BOG. Sebab saya dipahamkan kalau BOG meeting 28 November. Kalau UMC memang tetap minggu lah. Tapi SSC ni bila? Itu soalan pertama. Soalan kedua, kami Kesatu ada bertanya dengan Perdana Menteri pada 5 Januari dan disaksikan oleh Menteri tentang status UIA ni. Jadi kami nak tanya sampai manalah, adakah KPT berbincang dengan UIA tentang status UIA ni, dan setakat mana dia punya proses tu dan sampai mana? Sebab proposal tu kami ada hantar ke pihak KPT lah, Menteri KPT lah. Sebagai badan kanun seperti IPT lain lah. Yang ketiganya, kalau kita sain-sain, tiba bajet tak lulus. Jadi nak tahu bajet tu dah lulus ke belum. Jadi kalau kita buat, bajet tak lulus, kita menganga lah bulan 12 ni. Seterusnya, bahagian mana yang dalam SSPA ni yang tidak dipakai oleh UIA. Sebab tadi tak sebut kat mana, bagaimana, atau terima 100% ke, atau terima 80% ke, dan sebagainya. Itu saja. Wallahu a'lam.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Cik Yazid. Very important questions. And I think this will benefit all of us here, inshallah. Okay, let me try to answer the first question. Of course, we'll not be doing this today if we don't get the mandate from the University Authority. So we've presented this proposal for the adoption of SSPA in IIUM in two sessions of University Management Committee meeting. For the members' information, the most recent meeting of UMC on the 9th of October basically has gone through the proposal before our briefing today. And basically, that is why we are doing this briefing today, okay? That IIUM is adopting the SSPA with modifications because of our governance structure. Okay, and after the UMC, because we need to kickstart things, you know, to have this briefing, we need the mandate. But of course, under our regulations, I think Ola can, with the help of Ola, who prepared together with us the staff service regulations, that all matters related, all service matters related, service matters related, related service matters in the university. When we talk about service matters, it's actually the remuneration system that governs the university staff is under the purview of the staff service committee. So we will also bring a paper to the staff service committee based on the decision of the UMC on the 9th of October, as decided also by UMC for the SSC to approve this adoption. Okay, so the second question, status of IIUM, probably what I can share at this stage is that we are already we are still in the midst of basically having meetings after meetings with the central agency. Yeah, the most recent we had the meeting at the Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi with the Attorney General's office to basically look into the status of IIUM, and hopefully, of course, Ola is the office that is basically leading the team on this discussion with the central agencies. So hopefully we'll have something to share after this, but at this moment, I can only inform that it is progressing, but whatever that comes out of that meeting or proposal, we'll probably share once it is definite. Yeah. All right. And on the third one, the budget rules. Okay, the paper that we presented is with the budget that we presented to UMC is with the budget implication. And of course, in UMC, we have all the members also comprised of our Executive Director of Finance Division. So I think they are fully aware of the budget implication for the implementation of this SSPA in IIUM. Bukan Cik Yazid saja yang risau, saya pun risau juga kan. Kalau saya sign kan, saya pun naklah gaji saya dapat Disember gitu. Alright. Lastly, the apa yang UIA? Okay, all right. So we did not put it here, but in our paper to UMC on the 9th, we did summarize what are the things under that we currently have. That's also because kan saya cakap tadi sistem saraan ni dia everything under the sky related to perkhidmatan kita kan, daripada kita masuk determination of our scheme, masuk tu nak memohon nak jawatan apa, bila dia kata nak jawatan pensyarah universiti menggunakan skim apa, bila kata menggunakan skim pensyarah universiti, skim cakap apa dia punya entry qualification, apa dia punya starting salary, apa dia punya syarat-syarat dia punya career path dan sebagainya. It's all there. It's all in the scheme. So bila kita present to UMC, we put up a table to show that okay, these are the list of things. Contohnya lah macam service classifications tadi kan. Of course kita kena adopt in totality because why? Pejawatan kita do apply daripada JPA. So katakanlah Tadi we showed that there are 21 service classifications in the public service, but not all we have in IIUM. But this is now. Maybe in the near future, university would require certain service classification yang sekarang tak perlu, tapi berdasarkan keperluan future mungkin perlu. So kita dah ada benda tu. So in terms of the service classification tu, kita kata no harm if we want to adopt in totality, because bila kita dah adopt, let's say in a year's time, tiba-tiba ada keperluan untuk service classification yang sekarang ni kita tak ada. And then when we want to apply the pejawatan to JPA, if kita tak adopt, JPA kata UIA, you tak ada benda ni. Sebab you tak pakai access, you know. So it's, yeah, it's interrelated, kita punya akta tubuh dan sebagainya, but that's why the historical background tadi kita tunjuk tu, maknanya the adoption tu is because we are in terms of pejawatan 100% relying on the central agency, and we have to follow their scheme of service in order for us to request for pejawatan. If not, it's going to be like a itik dengan ayam bercakap, kan? Nak minta jawatan sekian-sekian, tapi dalam skim dekat JPA tak ada. So macam mana ni UIA? Gitu. So kita presented to UMC salah satu yang in totality yang service classification, service group, the MMSS, the minimum maximum salary scale, as well as the scheme of service. Dan apa tu yang kita kata with modification tu, yang macam benefits, allowances tu, we have to, because tak ada skala yang jelas. We cannot be going to UMC and say please adopt we cannot, because UMC will be asking us, mana details ni, you want us to decide but we don't have the details. So and you know the implication to the staff and whatnot, so we cannot be presenting something that we don't have yet. So as it is, selagi kita belum mengguna pakai macam kata exit policy kan, belum dapat. In the interim ni, whatever is in the university now will apply. Begitu. Okay, Cik Yazid, thank you very much for the 4 questions.
Assalamualaikum. Boleh saya tanya? Okay, Assalamualaikum. Saya Ahmad Suhairi daripada ke-1. Pertama saya ucapkan sahabat dan tahniah kepada Puan Zuraidah dan the team kerana menerima SSSPA ni. Kalau tak, kita kena tunggu 22 tahun lagi untuk naik gaji lah. At least ada benda tu adalah nampak cerah di terowong kan. Cuma apa yang saya faham tadi, mana UIA akan menerima dan akan akan ubah suai. Okey, untuk itu saya nak highlight sikit mana-mana dalam SSSPA ni, kalau kita tengok skim kita masing-masing, ada juga yang sebenarnya tidak menjambalahi pihak kita. Contohnya grade saya lah J36 ni, KGT dia akan menurun kalau kita orang terima untuk sign ni. Maknanya kita akan masuk kepada J6, KGT daripada 180 akan turun kepada 155. Jadi adakah UIA akan menambah baik kan untuk samakan balik kepada 180, atau itulah maksudnya UIA kan boleh kata tadi diubah suai, mana kita boleh menambah baik. Sepatutnya kita UIA ni lebih baiklah daripada PTN yang lain. Okey, itu satu. Yang kedua, untuk seniority. Sebab dalam SSPA ni seniority kita tak diberi point sangat. Contohnya dia dah digrupkan kepada H dalam golongan tu, dari banyak grup digrupkan kepada satu grup kan. So orang yang seniority tu dia dah bersama dengan grup orang yang baru. So saya harap dalam untuk kerjaya, untuk peluang kerjaya untuk seniority tu haruslah diambil berat jugalah. Maksudnya masa interview maybe seniority tu diambil kira. Mungkin ada point seniority tu dah lebih, kita bagilah point contohnya seniority tapi performance tu still lah. Contoh kalau performance sama, markah sama, seniority at least 5 point dia lebih. So seniority tu saya harap dia ambil kira lah. Okay, tu je dua perkara.
Thank you so much for highlighting that. Saya nak terus address the final point tu because seniority counts. Walaupun dengan penggabungan skim tadi tu, dia duduk dalam satu grade gaji iaitu 1. Tetapi dari segi, because dia bila duduk dekat grade 1 tu, dia datang daripada SSM ni, dia mungkin H11, dia mungkin N19. So they will be grouped in one salary grade under SSPA, which is grade 1. Tetapi macam you said, if if promotion comes, ada 2 candidate yang satu senior, satu junior, but kalau merit dia based on performance, kan? So the seniority will count. Jadi kalau berdasarkan penjelasan daripada, because we asked this question as well masa taklimat dekat JPA pun, I think people are concerned about this because you from SSM you come from different grade level grades, kan? Tiba-tiba dalam SSPA you dikumpulkan dalam satu grade yang sama. Tetapi dia kata kekananan tu dari segi your competition with untuk sesuatu jawatan tu tidak dikekalkan. Dikekalkan. Provided again macam you said just now lah, performance sama-sama terror tapi you lebih senior. So the promotion bila kita buat promotion tu, maknanya kalau promotion committee tu akan consider the seniority tu lah, the kekananan. Okay, so that's the second question. The first question tu, yes, kita pun faham dari segi the concern of our support group bila melihat dari segi penetapan SI di bawah SSPA. Tetapi kena juga melihat dari sudut bila SSPA diperkenalkan, ya, the objektif. Memang kena faham betul-betul objektifnya. So salah satu slide kita yang kita tunjukkan tadi yang daripada SSPA is that dia buat penyeragaman. Kan? So sekarang kan I give an example tadi, kalau university lecturer dulu dia ada scheme of service, dia ada jadual gaji minimum maksimum dia di bawah skim pensyarah universiti. Sekarang di bawah SSPA, dia tak ada begitu dah. Dia menyeragamkan jadual gaji minimum maksimum tu jadi daripada grade 1 all the way to 15. Tetapi dia tidak kacau because university lecturer, dia ada skim university lecturer dan dia ada starting salary. Kan kalau join DS51 tu starting salary-nya berapa. So tidaklah dia membaca kalau grade 51 tu di grade SSPA is grade 13 kan, 13 di grade 13, tak adalah dia duduk dekat minimum of that grade 13. Dia akan duduk dalam range sebab starting salary di S51 dia still refer to the scheme of service of that particular jawatan. Begitu. Cumanya dia buat range sebab dia nak menyeragamkan. Kalau kami nak tanya pun JPA kata lagi senang. Dah seragam dah sekarang. Ada satu je JJMM. Sedangkan sebelum ni kita ada, kalau JJMM tu, kalau kami dekat servis ni, bila nak membaca JJMM kena tengok lampiran D tu semua lecturer. Kan? Lepas tu another lampiran admin pula. Another lampiran jurutera pula. Sekarang tak payah. Nili akan refer satu lampiran saja. Which is okay. So your question tadi on the KGT tu, okay, bila kita kata IIUM adopt with modification, kan kita kena faham secara yelah, walaupun kita ada governance structure sendiri, tetapi secara dari segi pembiayaan, budget, macam saya kata tadi, our personnel cost, our operating cost, our development budget is all coming from the government. So as much as kalau kita minta perjawatan, setiap kali kita minta perjawatan, kita kena buat perkiraan gaji-gaji semua. Kan? Sebab dia nak bagi duit, so dia nak tengok perbelanjaan sebenar UIM untuk tahun 2024 sebelum they give us the budget for 2025. Okay, so dalam calculation perbelanjaan sebenar tu of course akan ada benda-benda macam kenaikan tahunan, the KGT. Jadi bila kita adopt ni, iaitu berdasarkan pengalaman daripada JKK sampai ke SSM, universiti tidak modify benda tu. Memang kita follow. Because that is the dia align dengan bila kita minta budget tu nanti. Kalau kata university macam your suggestion tadi, why not university modify with a better we can, but we have to budget sendirilah. Which tak rasalah kita masih ada kemampuan di situ. Cuma my response here ni is based on, of course the authority will have to decide. Tetapi based on the mandate that we got masa UMC hari tu, ini kita akan ikut, we adopt. Maknanya kalau rate-nya begitu, begitulah sebab dalam MMSS-nya begitu. Because again, saya repeat, from JKK sampai ke SSM pun kita tak pernah tukar lagi lah. Tak pernah lagi lah university adopt, lepas tu tambah pula lagi KGT kan, daripada apa yang kerajaan nyatakan lah. Ya? Okay.
Assalamualaikum, Madam. Belakang, Madam. Saya Aznita. Saya nak touch on IUM APAR. Okay, where kalau kita adopt untuk, kita memang akan guna SSPA ni lah. Dan APAR mesti 75% ke atas. Kalau if the university still using the current APAR system, saya tak risau where you have that scale tu sampai 10. Tapi if we are going to implement the new APAR system where the scale is only 1 to 5, we actually did a simulation during the UAT with MSD hari tu dulu. Masa tu kita pun tak tahulah yang SSPA ni akan tetapkan exit policy tu kalau below 75% kan. Masa tu we are based on 60%. Okay, during the simulation, we did, kalau the supervisor tu bagi APAR rate kepada staff tu 4 saja, dia tak akan bagi 5 lah, definitely. Sebab dia 1 hingga 5, supervisor jarang akan bagi 5. So dia akan bagi 4. Bagi 4 sampai habis pun, dia tak akan touch 90. Dia akan jadi 80. Kalau dia bagi 4 dan 3, it might go below than 75%. Sebab dia punya skill tu, gap dia tu terlalu besar. So saya harap pihak universiti dapat tengok balik lah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sister Aznita. I think bila kita aware that the new APAR tu is kita have completed it before the SSPA, definitely it will not be the same measurement as what expected under JPA ni kan, because kita dah buat awal. So nanti when we know that perkeliling apa nak keluar from JPA ni on the 75 or whatever policy dia keluarkan, so kita akan tengok balik lah whether it actually can match our new APAR system atau we need to do adjustment lah to what we have done. Yeah.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay.
Medin Najia. Tadi rentetan daripada soalan pada berada satu kita tadi. Saya just nak dapat pengesahan balik lah kan, order pertanyaan daripada berada tadi mengatakan KGT tu akan berkurang. So apa yang saya ada baca sepintas lalu, ada istilah KGT secara KUP yang mana kadar tu takkan diturunkan, mana you akan maintain mendapat ASI yang samalah secara KUP. Is it correct?
Betul. Terima kasih Brother Izwan for highlighting that. Ya, betul. I guess government pun dia sangat fair because bila dia introduce SSPA ni kan, apa yang dia nak bagi tu, apa yang you dah enjoy tu, dia kekalkan. Tetapi for the new recruits, the KGT baru akan terpakai lah. Jadi kalau the adoption by the university ni, benda-benda macam ni memang kita akan tengok lah, because bila dia melibatkan duit, bila government dah cakap macam tu, kita senang nak minta, because you said in the circular pun that we decided to adopt tu, that bagi existing staff, since dia punya kadar KGT dah banyak tu, so akan dikekalkan secara personal to holder sehinggalah dia retire, while untuk new recruits, kita akan pakai kadar KGT yang baru. Thank you so much, Brother Izwan.
Dia macam pencen juga lah kan. Pencen kekal.
Boleh saya kemukakan soalan tambahan? For example, saya nak tanya, let's say kalau ada pegawai yang berbuat keputusan tak nak sign, kan? For example, kita grade W41, tak nak sign ke SSPA, adakah dia mempunyai peluang untuk kenaikan pangkat promotion 41, 44, 48 dan 52?
Suka nak jawab soalan ni. Okay, sebab you dah baca kan, sebab you tanya kan. You dah baca circular sebab tu you tanya kan.
Baca sekali bas lah, ada sikit-sikit.
Okay, dia macam ni. Kalau kata staff decided not to accept the option, kita dah UIA adopt, ya. Lepas tu kita kata, okay, you nak accept tak the new remuneration system that will be implemented in IIM, which is with reference to SSPA kan, based on SSPA. So dia tak nak terima, dia nak remain dalam SSM. Boleh, you can do that, sebab benda tu masih akan pakai lagi jadual gaji minimum maksimum di bawah SSM, ya. Tetapi come promotion, tiba-tiba ada peluang untuk kenaikan pangkat, advertisement grade 48 kan. So sekarang grade 12. Okay. So Brother Izwan pun apply, or the staff apply. Tapi dia hari tu dia tak memilih untuk berada di SSPA. Okay. Dia boleh apply, dan kalau dia dapat, secara automatik dia akan ke SSPA. Sebab tadi kan yang slide yang saya tunjuk, the first few last, the 3 last slides tadi tu, yang kata kalau you decided to remain in SSM, okay, but all those things listed tu still applicable to you, because dalam segi policies on service kan, kalau dalam konteks UIA ni yang sedia ada, dan kalau bila kita adopt SSPA mungkin some revision will be done in the context of SSPA punya adoption and what not. Sama jugalah, benda tu tetap akan terpakai. So if you tak choose SSPA, it's not going to stop you from applying for the promotion, but if you get the promotion, you are automatically placed under SSPA.
Sorry, Madam Nurja. So for lecturers, katakan di S51, dia opt out dari SSPA, SSM. So kalau promotion to associate professor, jadi di 14. Di S14 lah. Okay. Automatically.
So it's just a matter of time lah, kan?
Betul. Cumanya di bawah skim WA, apa yang saya perhatilah based on the circular tu, dia agak sedikit untuk urusan kenaikan pangkat lah, untuk pegawai 41 ke 44, untuk skim WA agak sedikit ketat lah berbanding daripada skim N, di mana one of requirement memerlukan setiap kaki tangan finance officer ni menjadi ahli MIA. So soalan seterusnya, adakah MSG akan follow 100% that guideline atau akan membuat sedikit kelonggaran lah, sebab yang tu akan menyebabkan kenaikan pangkat tu tak berlaku, at the same time beban kerja tu itulah akan tertumpu kepada pegawai yang ada ahli MIA sahaja.
Dia macam ni lah, hari tu dekat sesi libat urus dengan JPA pun, I think this question was also raised, because the concern of course bila penjumudan skim pegawai keuangan tu dah duduk, kalau dia memang ada qualification accounting, dia boleh ditukar lantik kepada skim accountant, while those without the accounting qualification they will be dekat scheme pegawai takbir. Okay, when we talk about the promotion criteria, secara in principle kita follow. But we do modifications juga dalam konteks IUM because again macam kita kata tadi, we may have different needs and requirements. Ya, tetapi selalu bila melibatkan skim yang berkaitan dengan qualification, that one most of the time kita akan ikut. But we will take note of the concern from the group scheme ini. Ya, bila kita buat perincian nanti lebih lanjut, bila kita terima more information from GAPA on this matter. Yeah, we'll take note of that of concern. Thank you.
Alright. Thank you, Madam Jiha, Madam Cindy, Madam Zoida as well. Right, so we are talking about time just now, and apparently masa mencuri kita. Right, so ada question yang dah dijawab oleh staff kita lah. Betul, dah jawab betul. Alright.
Kejap, Madam Hafiq. The questions in the Zoom already responded.
Ada responded by the staff. Alright. Betul, betul. Alright, dah betul, dah respond. Ada yang respond juga. Alright. Right. Okay, so we just now in the last slide, there are contact person. You may contact those person or in charge of the SSPA at IUM as well. Sure.
One very glaring question just now from SASMEC, the
Clinical Management Unit.
And responded.
And then tadi just now yang I tanya pasal medical officer pasal dia time based tu. Ya, that one.
Okay.
Alright. Okay, so this is the contact person of SSP at IUM. So you may contact them for any further inquiries. All right, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, with that, we have come to the end of our program. All right, and on behalf of the organizer, we would like to thank everyone here who joined us today physically and online. Just now we have full attendance, 300 at Zoom, and right now. The total views is 3,600 views on
Thank
YouTube.
you everyone attending. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much for attending, and as well as here at the Senate Hall as well. Thank you so much for your time here.
Jangan lupa petang.
All right. So yeah. So don't forget, for those who are in option B, C, and D, do join us this evening here as well at the Senate Hall, as well as on Zoom and YouTube. You may refer to the announcement we have already provided in the email, inshallah. Right. So we also would like to apologize for everyone for any shortcomings throughout the event. And let us end our event today with the recitation of Surah Al-Asr and Tafsir Kafarah. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Stay safe.